There's the sound everyone's been waiting for. It's Tuesday.
You know what this means. We're back with the dozens.
And the dozens.
We're glad you're here with us in the back corner.
Yes.
That's a sound that brings joy any day, but particularly today as we're recording, it seems extra appropriate because this is St. Patrick's Day.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, it'll be a week after St. Patrick's Day when you hear this, but it's always St. Patrick's Day in your heart when you're Irish.
It feels a little extra St. Patty's today.
You got any Irish ancestry in you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly English, Scottish, and then like German. And then you go back far enough, I think there's some Nordic.
Ooh.
The Ingersoll, I think, is
Little-
a little Scandi.
Little Viking-ish?
A little, yeah, I probably have some.
We'll introduce our
deplorable
guest in a
history.
minute, but before we even do that, you got any Irish in you?
I think I'm English, but my wife is Scottish. I know that's not Irish, but like second generation. Like her
Close
grandfather
enough.
came from. Yeah, right. Close enough. You can't tell.
I think I'm more Irish than anything else. I think I'm pure Irish on my mom's side and have some Irish on my father's side. So.
There you go.
Interesting. Well, we have.
This has been genealogy chat on.
Today is exciting. We have a special guest in the house because, well, one, there's going to be some interesting conversation about what our guest does for a living, which should be fun. But I mean, you are one of the OG dozens.
Yeah.
From the beginning, never missed an episode.
It's perfect
There we go.
attendance.
So the big question is, will you listen to the episode you're on?
Oh yeah.
You probably have to, but I feel like it's going to be major. You know when you hear your own voice back?
Yes.
And you're like,
I wouldn't even bother
yeah,
with that.
I'm worried about that, but I'm sure I'll listen.
It is tough to watch and listen to yourself.
You get over it. You get used to it.
I just don't. I tend to avoid it.
I'll tell you what I don't like is on Sunday mornings, the pre-roll video that plays that I talk on.
Oh, at church, yep.
When I'm in the room, it just
totally.
feels weird to talk over yourself.
Yep.
Like if I'm chatting with someone or whatever, and I'm just like, I can hear my own voice twice. Yeah. I don't mind hearing it on camera, and I don't mind hearing it live, but hearing it both, it's just a weird feeling.
I don't like being in the room when I'm on video.
I have somehow magically timed it that I walk in just as I appear on the screen every Sunday.
I asked that I didn't do that video this time around because I had the same
I get it.
problem. So thank you, sir, for stepping into the gap. You want to intro our guest today?
I'd love to. Our guest in the back corner today, James Cann, is a zookeeper at the Magnetic Hill Zoo in Moncton, New Brunswick, which is Atlantic Canada's leading zoo that educates and inspires conservation action. The zoo is home to all kinds of animals from all over the world, but most importantly, it is home to tiny monkeys. And I've always wanted to meet a tiny monkey, and so I'm hoping if I play my cards right on this episode, I can get an invitation to meet a tiny monkey. So let's give a warm back corner welcome to the man who could probably make that happen, lover of all God's creatures, but especially if my research is correct, big cats, Mr. James Cann!
Hey, thank you.
I'm not angling for anything. No strings attached, but
We could probably hook you up with a little marmoset or something.
perfect.
Some point
I'm in,
along the way.
dude. I love tiny monkeys.
Maybe we go on the road
I mean,
live from the marmoset cage.
listen, I'm going to be in Moncton for XY.
Which is subsequently
What a segue.
one of today's sponsors.
There we go.
Actually, we've already mentioned a lot surrounding both sponsors.
Yeah.
But why don't we cue up a quick video announcement about XY? Check it out. Hey everyone, my name is Pastor Brent Ingersoll from King's Church, and I want to take a quick minute to invite the men of your church to join us at XY 2026. The XY Conference is an annual men's conference hosted at Title Church in Moncton, where over 1,000 men from churches all across Atlantic Canada join together for worship, encouraging teaching, and an all-around good time. If you've been at a previous XY conference, you know what God does in this atmosphere and at this environment is truly like nothing else that happens all year long. I have found that this has been an encouragement to me and shapes me to be the man God's called me to be for the rest of the year. If you've never gone, just ask somebody who's been there before and they will tell you how powerful and potent this gathering really is. This year, we're so blessed to have Pastor Ed Newton from San Antonio, Texas Community Bible Church coming to teach. Along with him, we got Mike Kelsey from McLean Bible Church in Washington, D.C., and former NFL player Leonce Crump. They're going to be teaching. It's going to be an incredible, incredible time, and we are so blessed to have them coming. It's coming up really fast, April 17th and 18th to be exact, so today is a great day to get registered. If you're a woman and you have some men in your life, a husband, a friend, a son, a brother, a father even, encourage them to set this time aside and get there in pursuit of Jesus, because we are confident that there's going to be a huge return on that investment. If you're a young man between the age of 18 and 25, we want to sponsor you. So we're covering a large portion of the cost for you. There's a discount code that you can access and you can get there for a fraction of the registration price. We believe God's doing something very special in the lives of men, especially young men. So we want to see you there. So get registered quickly. You can scan the QR code. You can go to xyconference.com. There's lots of ways to register, but today's a great day. Get registered. I can't wait for it. I hope to see you there.
All right, so that's XY. You're going to want to be there. I think this is going to be the last time you're going to hear us plug it, because you need to get signed up. Maybe one or two more times, but
one
get
more
on
at
it.
most.
If you don't sign up, we will, even after it's done, we're just going to keep plugging it just to make you feel bad. So the sooner we get, like, say, 1,500 guys registered, the sooner we'll stop plugging XY.
Good little case study. James, you've been to XY before?
I have, yeah, the last couple of years.
Are you coming this year?
I've come into the back corner unregistered as of now for XY. I honestly meant to, but
Unregistered but intending to come?
that's right. I'll be there.
Which is like half the guys right now.
Yeah.
So
Get on it, guys.
Yeah,
It's in our nature.
Don't be like
it
James.
is.
You guys are fighting an uphill battle, I think.
we know. We really are. And let's be honest, if we weren't putting it on, I would be in the same position you are. Oh yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'll just register the day before.
I'll get to it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it would really help us if you guys would go ahead and register. It's going to be awesome this year. Great speakers. We got already a really large registration developing.
awesome.
We're pretty far ahead of where we were.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were saying we're tracking well ahead of last year.
Yeah.
And last year was our biggest year
Yeah,
ever?
we had 1,200 guys last year.
There we
so
go.
We should easily reach that this year, I think. So it's going to be a party.
I want to see us crack 15.
I would love that. I would love to just see the title church full like that. with guys.
1875, I think, is the
that's-
seating capacity.
I think that's the number.
We could be getting close to putting some stress on the building. That's
There
my
we
goal.
go.
That is my goal. I want to just see Buckingham's vision realized.
Oh, that's why they built it. So,
Let's make some
Big
structural
events.
engineers nervous. Everybody
Definitely.
show up.
and actually, as of when this is going to drop, they will have announced that they just paid off the mortgage.
Wow.
Finally, for that
Well done.
project. So
That's wild.
There
That
you go.
is- that's
Time to put it to
impressive.
use.
That is impressive.
Time to ask for a discount on our rental fee.
Yeah, actually, we get a steep discount on the rental fee, which
Nice.
is just the good kindness of the good people of Title Church.
And that's why God's blessed them in such a way that they can pay off the
There it
mortgage.
is. Is it a coincidence? I doubt it. I doubt it. Truly, we couldn't do it at the scale we're doing if they weren't behind it like that. So
Shout
it's
out to
like
Title.
The venue costs would just sink us.
Yeah.
because we would never even. I mean, we end up maybe losing a little money on it anyway, but
we make some strategic investments.
yes, but we would never be able to pull off an event of this level without the hookup.
Yeah, imagine if you had to rent like
It would sink us. There's no
whatever,
way.
the Coliseum or some big hotel ballroom or
Well, we just wouldn't have all the cool stuff and the international speakers and all that stuff. We just couldn't do it. It would just be me and you.
There we go.
Holding it down, which I mean is not the worst thing in the world.
We'll do I Love No Name XY one of these years. The yellow label XY.
Yeah. So shout out to Title Church,
Yeah.
Pastor Jim, huge partners in that. Another official sponsor today.
The Magnetic Hill Wharf Village.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
That's right. So my wife and I own the Magnetic Hill Wharf Village in Moncton, which is right next door to the Magnetic Hill Zoo, where I work.
Is it that like on the boardwalk little area
Yeah,
there?
that's it right there. Yeah. Well, so actually across the street is the boardwalk, which is like a little amusement place, go-karts, bumper boats, golf.
But when you drive in,
you drive into Magnetic Hill Park itself. You've got the Magnetic Hill, the namesake of the park. You've got us right there at the entrance. Then you've got Magnetic Hill Zoo, and then you've got Magic Mountain Water and Amusement Park. So yeah, we're the retail and food portion of the park. So gift shop, we got an antique shop, ice cream shop.
You got any
lobster
old
shop.
hand tools in that antique shop?
On occasion, I should hook you up with my dad. He's got all kinds of old hand tools.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's big into that.
I see another Cann in the back corner in our
right.
future.
I'm going to go see Tiny Monkeys and your dad.
Yeah. There you go.
This is going to be the first time I've ever wanted to go to Moncton. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, you're hard on us.
He is hard on it. You defend your people.
Okay, I'll say this. I'm not in disagreement, actually.
There we see.
So I grew up in Fredericton.
Oh, yeah. So you think you're better than everyone.
Moncton, yeah.
Brent, do you remember something you said to me after you'd lived here in St. John for about 2-3 years when you first moved here? I remember one day we were talking, not long after you'd moved here, and all that you said, you go, wow, people are right.
About Frederick?
Yeah, like I think you still said we at that time, because you were like, we're like the worst. Like we think we're better than everyone. You just see like the scales had fallen off your eyes.
Yes, I will say back to Moncton, and you can advocate for your city. I will say Moncton proportionately seems to produce the best people, though. I am always blown away by the kindness of the average Monctonian.
No, one of the reasons I get so upset by Moncton is because of the high caliber of people that are forced to live there.
It's an injustice.
I've often said I think Monctonians should be rewarded by being allowed to move to Fredericton. And Frederictonians should be punished by being forced to move to Moncton. I think we need to line up the quality of the people with the quality of the actual like geography.
There's a lot of good people for such an ugly, drab city.
Oh, that's just the issue.
What I say about Moncton, though, is the best thing about Moncton is that it's
the Magnetic
close.
Hill Wharf
That's
Village.
Right. Well, honestly, it's close to everything that's better than it. 20 minutes down the road, you get the warmest ocean water north of Virginia Beach. You're an hour to the PEI Bridge. You're 2.5 hours to Halifax, 2.5 hours to the U.S. border. That's what's good about Moncton.
An hour to St. John.
There you go.
What more could you want?
But other than that, the Magnetic Hill Park, I keep telling the city this.
It is sweet.
You've got this natural illusion that occurs only like a handful of places on the planet.
Yep.
We did that last summer, by the way.
There you go.
And it is
You know
weird.
what?
Like
Honestly,
weird.
when you live there and you work there and you do it a million times, it's kind of like, but people love it.
Yeah.
Then they believe it.
Yeah.
They think it's real. They don't realize it's an illusion. Like, oh, is this going to affect my pacemaker? It's going to ruin my watch.
That's hilarious.
Like legit. And so the park, you got the Magnetic Hill, you've got Atlantic Canada's only zoo.
Yeah.
And you've got Magic Mountain Water Park, which is great it's the best amusement water park in the region.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's why I keep telling the city, this park is the best thing about Moncton. It's what we've got over everyone else. Every place in the Maritimes can claim the water.
Yeah.
Second to Bass
you guys
Pro.
can't even really claim the water. You guys have a mud flat.
But we're close to Shediac.
Well,
That's Moncton. Like I said, the best thing about Moncton, other than
Is what it's
Magnetic Hill,
close to.
is that it's close to everything that's better.
I will, and I've said this many times. I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast, but I do poo-poo Moncton a lot. Just the actual, like, the location, the geography, the architecture, all that, the layout is just atrocious. But there is a can-do entrepreneurial spirit there.
They're crushing Fredericton and St. John.
And Halifax in a lot of ways. Like they punch way above their weight. And I would say if there's any of the Atlantic Canadian cities who are at least well on their way to shaking off that classic like maritime scarcity mentality, you can't really do that here. We're just little old us. Like Moncton is great at that. And
Totally agree.
You see more like successful, I see more successful like personally owned businesses there, like stores and stuff. Some guy just decided he was going to start it, whereas everyone else is like, my biggest dream in life is maybe I can afford a franchise of something else or whatever, right? And there really is just a real can-do, go for it, swing for the fences attitude.
Biggest city, I think.
It is now,
and it's one of the fastest
St.
growing
John.
in Canada. Yeah, speaking of Moncton and Magnetic Hill, I actually come bearing gifts.
Let's go.
I
got
brought
gifts
you
for
guys a
too.
few gifts here.
Big old gift exchange.
Well, now I promise the ladies at the gift shop at Magnetic Hill will wrap your purchases better than I've done. My manager and my wife would kill me if they saw this. So AJ, this one's for you.
Okay.
You seem kind of like you only wear black, and I didn't have anything black.
I do predominantly
The
wear
new
black,
stock
but-
hasn't come in yet, and so I had to go green.
I do love a good toque, though.
Yeah, there you. Oh, good.
I probably won't wear it the whole show because I'm already sweating under these lights in this hoodie, but
Don't worry. And then I do know you love ice cream.
I do love ice cream.
Stop by Murray's
Come
Moose
on.
Ice Cream
Boom.
Shop at Magnetic Hill Wharf Village.
Thank you so much, man.
I did not realize you were behind the village.
Yeah.
cool.
So we bought it in 2018. My wife
right.
runs it, and her uncle's our business partner, and so
I'm gonna make more. Oh, dude.
we got an antique shop. We also have a shop that sells like Canadian-made products. So that's a
That's
little
awesome.
folk art for you into the fish. What's it called? It says on the bottom
It's a
what
popper.
it's called.
It's like a slow Sally.
There you go.
Yeah, I
go.
mean that would catch a striper.
You're not allowed to call the people that anymore. I think.
This is gonna. This is sweet. Thanks, man.
Lots of stripers in the Petitcodiac River.
There
It
are
is
not as many
ugly
as there are in the Miramichi or the
No, probably not,
Kennebecasis,
but,
but
And then that little guy right
this?
there, that is a fragment
Holy,
of a
yeah.
megalodon tooth. We sell the full teeth at the wharf, but we also sell the fragments for those that,
Dude.
There you go.
in honor of your cryptid corner.
that is
What a hookup.
That is cool.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. You
Wow.
might be winning in
This is the best.
guest
This
gift
is the
bringing
best.
department.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
think
and
it
then I
is.
got the jersey swap here
Oh
Okay.
my!
for you.
Goodness gracious! He's going in
Hunter
hard.
plaid there.
Come
for,
on, dude.
There you go.
For,
That's
yeah. Well,
that
like I
is
said, I was working at Slim Pickens. I'm going through the leftover stock from last season,
Dude,
so I
that
was
will
like,
get- that will get
that's
worn.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
may
There
have
you
to
go.
shoot something with that on.
yeah, there you go.
Well, our gifts to you aren't as cool or as thoughtful, but we got a
I'll take
couple.
it.
We got
That's
I
great.
got both seasons of the back corner tees.
Nice.
There you go.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go ahead and register you for XY as well. So you're gonna. It's consider it done, sir.
All right.
As a
Well,
thank you for being in the
gratis.
in the back corner
Yeah.
because it is not a high-paying gig to be here. In
is
fact, by
not.
not high-paying, it's a non-paying gig.
In fact, I'm pretty sure you're losing money on it at this point with these amazing gifts.
Absolutely,
So thank you
for sure. So
Just don't
that's
tell my manager.
awesome, man.
Very
Thank you.
cool. I love that
Thank
thing,
you.
man.
No,
So yeah,
sure.
I mean, if you're in the Moncton area, especially with your family, I mean,
Yeah.
we
yeah.
probably, I would say once every year or two, we hit the zoo up.
Yeah.
So my family's loved that.
I've never been. My wife and her, one of her best friends went last summer, and they said it was like the coolest thing ever, and that they had
It's
tiny
legit.
monkeys.
No, it's legit. They've got.
Fixated on the tiny monkeys.
I was looking at the black bear exhibit.
Yeah.
We were there last fall, a week before I went bear hunting.
Okay.
So I was kind of studying. Studying the movements.
We're gonna get more
intel.
into the zoo here later, but while we're on the subject, are you guys open year round? When do you reopen for the summer? What's the deal
Yeah,
there?
so the Magnetic Hills Zoo is open from April 1st through November, and then we open at night for like Christmas lights called Wild Lights.
We've done that before
yeah,
too.
for the whole
It's
month
really
of
good.
December, and then
Do the tiny monkeys get Santa hats for that?
their enclosure does get decorated. Yeah, and then Wharf Village is open from
dress them
Mother's
as
Day
elves.
weekend. That's good.
That'd be awesome. A little workshop.
I'm gonna steal that.
Santa's little lemur helpers or
Yeah.
whatever.
If you need ideas, just you ping us. And
Yeah, all right.
Listen,
will
if
do.
they need to be doable or practical, I might not be helpful, but if they just need to be fun,
and adorable.
I'm your guy. Legit though, how cool would it be to see them with the little the little
the
vests
overalls.
and the little pants with the trap door buttons in the back. They're just there making toys.
Yeah, that would. They might not appreciate
And
it,
flinging poo, but-
it would be cute.
We'll get into all conversations, zoology and cryptozoology shortly, but let's fire up the teletype machine. Ron, what are you wondering today?
Well, since we have a seasoned back corner enthusiast here with us, I kind of want to poll. What's the better season? We're kind of halfway. We're kind of matching up with how many seasons we had in season one. Season 1 or season 2? Back corner. Which is your favorite? Which is better so far?
Boys, that's hard.
Yeah. I think I'm liking season 2 better just because I feel like we know what we're doing more.
Yeah.
So
I would say we had some of my favorite guests on the first season.
Yeah.
But we've also had them all back the second season, so that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's hard to pick.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like saying which one of your kids you like the most. You don't do that publicly. That's just between you and Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
I like them all different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do think I'd go with season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd go with season 2. There's like
just a
the
little
whole
tighter.
Yeah, there's like a novelty of season 1 too, but like of the first season. So there's kind of that, but it's sort of like marriage. Like when you first fall in love, there's like a certain excitement to it, but at the end of the day, like it's sweeter 25 years in than it was,
Should be
year
anyway.
1. Well, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not, we recommend you reach out to a therapist in your neighborhood and work through that stuff.
You got a preference, James?
Oh, well, you did have a lot of repeat guests, so from last year, so you still had them this year, so that's good, like HC and stuff like that. But this season you had the Buck. So being a Monctonian, Moncton Wesleyan, Pastor Buckingham, I'll have to go season 2.
Pastor B single-handedly delivering the victory to season 2 here.
A lot of Moncton Wesleyan title church love going on here today.
Yeah.
So look at that.
Shout out.
We'll get maybe a horn blast for a title.
There we go.
Well, speaking of love or a lack thereof, we want to do a couple of Keep It or Sweep It's today.
We haven't heard this song in a while.
No, it's true.
I feel like we've been doing the other version of this.
Yeah.
Overrated, overhated.
Yeah. It's not the exact same segment. There's like a 12% difference.
The name's different.
Same idea, sort of, but
Yeah.
not. Anyway, today it's Keep It or Sweep
We
It.
could just have one segment called Share Your Opinion, but that seems boring. So, award shows. As of this recording, the Oscars were just a few days ago, and we're in the thick of awards season. Some think awards ceremonies like the Oscars and Grammys are important for acknowledging the way the arts contribute to a healthy society and a rich culture, and by giving those who make art something to rise to. Others would see it as being an exercise in politics and self-congratulation. What do you say? Awards ceremonies, keep it or sweep it? And you guys watch the Grammys?
No, I didn't even realize.
Was it the Oscars?
Or
Yeah,
Oscars?
that was just, yeah.
Whatever it
We
was.
see where this is going to go.
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't even know it was on until I saw like clips on Instagram like that night or the next day or something. But now, as far as I'm concerned, all they're good for is for the Illuminati to signal to the masses. Other than that, I got no time for it.
Yeah, you can get a glimpse of a couple lizard people, but other than that.
Yeah, it's a good way to see the reptilians out in the open.
There you go.
I'm going hard sweep. I hate those award shows.
Yeah.
I just, the pretension is just insufferable.
Yeah.
Like, to just complete self-congratulations and like the most detached, delusional, like group of people on the planet. The only good thing about those award shows is when you get the odd guy that comes up and dunks on them.
Yeah.
Like Ricky Gervais when he did that. He's
Yeah.
like, get up, thank your God, and get off the stage.
Thank you, manager. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like no one cares.
Yeah.
No, that's the only time I like watching it get subverted.
Yeah.
But no, and the other piece to it about it is like I was trying to think when I saw you were going to talk about this. It's like art is so subjective anyway. So who decides that this is the best? Like it's one thing if we're competing in sports, we know they scored more points, they win.
Exactly.
But with art, it's like, oh, I liked the movie that got 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that should get an award. You know,
Well, and speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, I would put far more stock in a movie getting 90% on Rotten Tomatoes than winning an Oscar.
oh, for sure.
Like if I had to bet on which movie is going to be better.
Yeah. It actually is more accurate.
Well, I mean, again, I've liked movies that didn't score well in those kind of things, but at least then you're talking about how much did your average person enjoy it? Like one of the things about Oscars, for example, that I think just drives me nuts is the idea that like there's these Oscar bait movies where it's like, we're not trying to make a good movie just in general. We're trying to make the kind of movie that would win an Oscar. And it shows that they're not trying to award the movies that the most people even would see as a good movie or an enjoyable movie or whatever. It becomes this very inside
for sure.
thing.
It's all these obscure films you've never heard of, and the mainstream gets snubbed.
Yeah.
and it's
And then you see all the pretentious people out there acting like they like it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just self-serving all around.
I used to, years ago, I was in this thing called Toastmasters, which is like this public speaking club thing. And they do these competitions where you can win a speech making competition. And this weird thing happens where in theory, you're supposed to make a good speech and they're going to mark you on it, grade you on it, whatever. And then there become these like things that develop that are the best way to do a Toastmasters speech over the years. And by the time I got there was all these, I'm a professional public speaker. Like I know a couple of things about this. And by the time I got there and they started talking about what you have to do to actually win at a Toastmasters thing, is like all these things, like I would never do that as a public speaker.
Right.
And you shouldn't do that as a public speaker. And that's a weird thing, like maybe sometimes, but not. And it just becomes this thing that feeds itself. Like
It's more committed to the art form than it is to the actual, like art is supposed to be a medium.
Yeah.
It's supposed to actually go to something else.
Right. And so what they wound up teaching you is not how to do good speaking. They taught you how to win a Toastmasters.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
We're not the same. And I feel like the Oscars are sort of a weird, much more pompous version of that, where it's like, yeah, like this is not about making a good movie. It's about making the kind of movie that you'll get an award for, which these days often has to have some sort of agenda or preachy message or some, like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And I do think it feeds into the whole celebrity culture thing of like, well, this guy won an Oscar, so he's right about everything.
Right.
Or like,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think, Robert De Niro?
And I also think if there was a day where that made sense, like in the days of the monoculture, where like a big movie meant everybody saw it, but now there's just not like whatever, even like whatever Avengers Endgame, one of the biggest movies of all time. I bet you could very easily walk around this building right now and find someone who hasn't seen it.
Right here.
Yeah, see,
You haven't seen Endgame?
Not into the Marvel
yeah,
movies,
exactly.
I'm
So it's
sorry.
like one of the biggest movies ever, and it's still not like some universal cultural whatever.
I still get comments from people at King's because I spoiled.
in a sermon?
Yeah, I told everybody that Iron Man dies, and it was like it was fairly close.
I was going to say how long after.
Stay
Was it?
within a year.
Oh, a year. Pff, That's
I
your
think
own fault.
what I
Once
think.
it's out of
Yeah.
theaters, it's fair. Like if you're that big a fan, you would have went and saw it in theaters,
I think
which is only like 2 or 3 weeks these days.
Yeah.
before stuff starts streaming.
Those are good movies, though. I like the Infinity War and Endgame.
I enjoyed them up like the first phase up till Endgame. Then they kind of lost
They
me.
can't get out of the like. I rewatched the Avengers stuff with my youngest son over the holidays, and like I forgot how even those movies are just so like loaded with like political agenda. Like there's this scene. Do you remember this, Ron? Ron's probably like where all the female superheroes gather and they go and beat the bad guy. I'm like, we didn't need this. I didn't need Gwyneth Paltrow in the Iron Man
The
suit.
little Spice Girls moment.
I just groaned. I just groaned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't.
Well, for
handle
me,
it.
they're constantly cutting any tension they build.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's gotta hurt. Like just bad comedic little things put in there. Like any tension, anything I felt.
just not gritty
they
enough
just
for
cut.
you?
Yeah, it's not gritty. They cut it with comedy.
You're more
immediately.
a little more John Wick.
You're more of a Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yeah,
kind of guy?
exactly.
for sure.
Something a little heavier.
I want my superheroes a little more realistic.
I want them dysfunctional. I want them to need therapy.
Back to the award shows thing.
Yeah.
One other thought though. I will say I think a couple things have wrecked it. Obviously, just the detachment of the average celebrity and the whole political, zeitgeist. But the other thing is they used to be the one time where, especially like music award shows, where you could see some of those like famous bands and stuff because we didn't have YouTube. You couldn't, but now you can watch every concert from every place and see all the musicians when they're doing mashups and stuff. So they don't even provide the service really that they used to. I think there was back in the 90s even, there was more of I want
You
to
would
watch
sit
this
through the
'cause
awards to see the performances.
U2's going to play.
exactly.
Right. So, but now it's like, I can see U2's best concert ever right now. So
What was the several years ago they
Magnetic
put
Hill?
out a concert video U2 did. I'm trying to remember what that one was. I went and saw it in IMAX. It was pretty wild. Because you're on stage and it's
Right.
wrapped around you, and like I'm not really big on like, oh, look at the size of the screen, but that was a
Well,
that
I
was a moment.
recently went with the Backstreet Boys through space while they sang their hits. So
You were at the Sphere.
I was at the
right?
Sphere. Yeah.
Lucky you.
Oh man,
One more Magnetic Hill plug. U2's final 360 show at the
I was there.
Magnetic Hill.
Were you
go.
there?
I was there.
yeah, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
Now here's my take on that. I know some of our listeners won't care, but I had seen them in Montreal the month before.
Yeah.
And it was a total different feel. Montreal was, I don't know, 40,000 mostly U2 fans, and they were singing all the songs. And at Magnetic Hill, it was 80,000 concert fans.
Exactly. Yep.
And so it wasn't quite as electric as it was in Montreal when you had it was like a home crowd almost.
Yeah.
Well, as
I
my
would
buddy
agree.
Andrew Pepper always says, Moncton is a poor man's Montreal, so that tracks.
Back to Moncton slander. We
Moncton
never get
bashing.
too far removed from it here.
Yeah.
So I'm going hard sweet
Yeah.
on the award shows.
Same.
Sweet.
Hard sweet.
All right.
They're gone. We got another one?
Yeah, so let's talk about animals in zoos. Some people say that zoos are a wonderful way to help the public get to see and enjoy all kinds of animals they never could otherwise, and to educate them and give them a greater appreciation for these incredible creatures. Zoo fans might also point to the important conservation work that many zoos are involved with. Meanwhile, there are lots of folks who are anti-zoo. They believe it's cruel and inhumane to pull animals from their natural environment and make them live an artificial life in enclosures simply to entertain and satisfy the curiosity of humans. Zoos, what do you say? Keep it or sweep it? We'll let the zookeeper chime in first.
I definitely.
I'm going to lead this one off.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So
I mean, this is really just a back way into
the tension of it,
what do you say to some of those kind of criticisms of zoos?
yeah, so obviously I'm a zookeeper, so I'm going to start off with a confident hard keep.
If for nothing else, other
my
than
job.
employment reasons.
No. So zoos, this is the thing. First of all, zoos are like the number one conservation tool that we have. Highly effective at it too. They're like a backup or like a bank of biodiversity and genetics that is waning in the wild, right? So the animals in zoos are ambassadors for their species, right? And
Do they get little like medals or sashes or something?
yeah. They represent, so this tiger, first of all zoo animals nowadays are born in zoos, right? In zoos, they're captive bred.
So you're not
They've
trapping
never
them.
Exactly. You're not trapping them. And anything that wasn't born in a zoo is a rescue or rehabilitated animal. So, for example, you're talking about the bears. Those bears were cubs that were orphaned up a telephone pole. NB Power found them, brought them to DNR. DNR brought them to us, and we've been raising them.
Okay.
Right? So those animals are ambassadors. Now, any zoo worth its salt is going to be accredited. Like any guy with a roadside zoo that's like
there's
abusing
bad
it.
ones.
There's bad apples everywhere, right? But an
And those
accredited
attract
zoo,
bears.
Indeed.
yeah, bear will eat anything depending on the time of year. But
Duster's Donuts seem to work real well.
oh yeah, bears in the fall will eat. It's amazing the swing in their appetite between the fall and the spring when they wake up.
Really?
It's wild. But anyway. Yeah, they're ambassadors for their species. So these animals without zoos, these in particular individuals don't exist.
Right.
There's 3,000 tigers in the wild. There's like probably 1 million tigers in captivity, right? So would you rather have just 3,000 tigers that are out there struggling, or would you have 1 million and 3,000 tigers and have that genetic biodiversity banked up in case you need it, which has been the case for several species, California condor, Przewalski horses, which we had at Magnetic Hill at one point. Those animals were on the brink of extinction, like literally like handfuls left, and then were rehabilitated in zoos, and now they have thriving wild populations.
Wow.
So a lot of the whole zoo thing is based, honestly, in ignorance.
Yes.
Like there's the 5 freedoms that every accredited zoo strives to give these animals. So basically, if you can cover their physical needs, food and water, shelter, access to mates or the opportunity to express natural behaviors, you're covered, right? These animals like, a tiger roams 500 square miles because it has to,
Right.
right? These animals are contractionists, especially predators. They're only going to go the minimal space they have to go to get what they need. It just so happens in Russia, in Siberia, that's 500 square miles or whatever. If you can provide that in a zoo enclosure, they're fine. And they will go the perimeter of that 500 square miles, or they'll go the perimeter of their zoo enclosure. Like you see a worn out path around the perimeter of the enclosure. People are like, it's bored, it's got nothing to do. No, it's patrolling its home.
Yeah.
Just like it would do in the wild, except in the wild, it's got to go 500 square kilometers to
guarding its
find that
territory,
food.
right?
Wow.
Exactly. In captivity or in an accredited zoo, I'm providing everything it needs right here in this space. And these animals, too, they have relationships with the keepers.
Right.
Like, they have good lives. And now, again, there's bad zoos out there. But even some zoos that aren't accredited, just because it's not accredited doesn't mean they don't take good care of their animals. So I'm a hard keep. It's the only way that most people ever get to experience animals like this. Like, you wouldn't care about a tiger or the plight of a tiger or a lion or whatever it is, probably if you never get to see one.
Yeah.
But, like, we do behind the scenes for some of our exhibits, so you can pay extra and come in and get a behind-the-scenes tour.
Like
and we
play with a tiny monkey?
Yeah. But we don't have one for the marmosets, but we do have one for the tiger. So the biggest.
I don't care about
cat.
Dude, have you seen one up close?
Well, and that's my point right there. Have you seen one?
insane.
I mean, they're cool, but I'd rather
close.
hang out with a tiny
dude.
monkey.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So that's what everyone says. They come in and they see it. Like you see it up close as a paying visitor, but when you go behind the scenes, it's even closer. And so that people always say, "Oh my goodness, seeing it up close right there, it just changes their ideas, it changes their relationships, and hopefully our goal is it changes how they interact with the natural world and they care, hopefully, when they leave." And so hard keep on zoos. Any other opinion? Unless you're walking the walk, unless you're like a granola hippie that's got zero carbon footprint in your life,
Totally.
I don't want to hear your ignorant opinion on it, to be honest
Well,
with you.
let me jump off that. I'm gonna go another hard keep, and I'll pivot this a little bit into like the hunting space because hunters deal with that too. You'll get the criticisms from people, but what they don't know is hunters like are again back in the conservation conversation, like one of the number one contributors to actually the flourishing of these animal populations, right? There's like every hunting license you buy, there's a portion of like ammunition or any stuff you buy like hunting related gets kicked back into conservation efforts. So there's that piece. There's the piece of like exposure again on like you talk to again, there's bad apples, just like there's bad zoos, but you talk to the average hunter, those guys care way more about deer than the person that, I can't believe you'd shoot a deer, like they've not been up and around it. They've not had that emotional experience of, I did take a life. This is going to feed me. This is like, I don't take this lightly. Like most hunters have a closer, deeper appreciation to the animal, not a lessened one.
No,
I think that's
sure.
I think you could compare that to what zoos are doing as well. I never thought of the ambassador component, but yeah, you really are allowing people who maybe like don't get that from hunting to actually get a different perspective and appreciation on these animals. So
that makes me think of one of these, what you're saying about hunting, Brent. One of my pet peeves is the notion that humans are unnatural.
Yeah, we're a predator.
Yeah, and it's one of those
Part
like,
of it.
so not only are we a predator, so we should be allowed to predate like any predator, but also like, I mean, here in Quispamsis, take deer, like on the residential streets here, people hit deer in their cars all the time because there's too many of them.
I walked my dog before this podcast, and we spooked 14 deer in my backyard.
Oh, there you go.
A couple, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, just around the corner from my house, which is just a little residential street, a deer got hit and a cop had to come and shoot it. Took him 5 shots. I don't know what that says about our, legitimately. I don't know what that says about our, he couldn't like he picked it up.
Hire.
He picked it up and dragged it off the side of the road because it couldn't walk. And literally took him 5 shots, but I'm pretty sure the local police here they sounded like a 22. It's like pop, 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 pop.
That's
anyway,
probably the problem.
So if that was a moose,
no, I was just going to say, but like that idea that the ecosystem doesn't assume our presence harvesting certain animals is just, it's silly, right? And even, I get even a little bothered. I understand you got to have some word for this, but even when people talk about like cities are unnatural, I'm like, no, they just happen. Like all throughout history, people have made cities. They're no more unnatural than bees' nests and ant hills, and you know what I mean? Like it's just what people do. That doesn't mean we should like pollute like crazy thoughtlessly, but it's also like that notion that humans are some unnatural imposition.
Yeah, we're part of the
system. Which I do sometimes wonder if there's some like even people who are pretty like materialistic, no real spiritual understanding of anything, but particularly humanity, if that's still sort of like this latent understanding that humans are of a different order than the rest of animals.
Like we're
like the people who would say we're just the highest primate also would say we're something other than the natural order. And I'm like, I think you're wrong in this instant, but I wonder if there's not just something bouncing around in your brain going, no, humans are different than just every other animal.
Yeah, I get that every week at my primate presentation. You get, well, what about people? People are primates. And it's like, okay, yeah, technically, but like, you're going to deny there's something different going on here? Well, people are the only, beavers modify their habitat. Yeah. Well, yeah, not to the degree that people do. There's something going on here.
The beavers build one thing in multiple sizes.
Exactly. An orangutan can jam a stick down a log to pull out some ants. It
Did you see
uses
this
tools.
thing?
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference between an orangutan and a human being and what
thing
we've accomplished.
That's been going around about this
exactly.
group of, I'm trying to remember what they were, chimpanzees, but I'm trying to remember where. And they've started this like fashion trend of sticking.
I saw that, yeah.
Sticking blades of grass in their ears, and then one of them, it's like he must have been the teenage boy of the group. He thought he'd take it further and had a big old, like 3-inch huge wad of grass stuffed up his butthole.
Yeah.
It's just this picture of him walking around with all this grass hanging
and we
out.
descend from that.
Yeah. Well, even that you go like,
you.
okay, so we got that in the Mona Lisa, same deal,
Yeah,
same.
exactly. Yeah,
Michelangelo's David, grass in your ear. It's just orders of magnitude.
I do think a lot of this does come down to like a willful ignorance, and people aren't actually wrestling through, reality, whether it is hunting. And anytime I've had an argument with someone, it always falls apart at where do you get your food?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I get it at the superstore. I'm like, okay, do you know where that steak came from, and do you know where that and it's like, unless to your point, you are a dyed in the wool, hardcore, I churn my own butter and make my own clothes hippie, and you don't drive a car.
Well, if you're hardcore, you're not even churning your own butter because you have to have animals in captivity to get the milk.
Well, there you go.
You're like a freaking vegan, right?
Eating
like,
locust, then okay, I'll tip my hat to you. But most people
just
can't
crab apples that already fell to the ground. That's it.
Yeah, I will say too. Flip my observation back to zookeepers, like in zoos, people who run them. I was really. I don't know what the word is, like educated, I guess. A few years ago, we went to SeaWorld. And SeaWorld's got a lot of heat, right?
Yeah.
But we went to this one place called Discovery Cove. And it's like basically it's like a resort where you can swim with fish and you can swim with dolphins.
Yeah.
And they talked about the dolphins, and like two things were really clear. One, like the staff there cared deeply about these animals, like at a level that, even the most like animal loving, layperson.
There's got to be some level which they sort of become your pets.
Yeah,
there's a relationship there.
No one cares more about animals than a zookeeper or someone like that.
Yeah, like there's a deep love there, you could tell.
Yeah, but the one area I will concede is a killer whale. I don't think we can effectively provide the 5 freedoms for a killer whale in captivity.
Right.
I think they're just too big and they're just too smart combined. We just can't do it. So that's kind of going by the wayside, which is, I guess I'd be fine to see that go. But again, what have captive killer whales done for their population?
Totally.
Right? Like they're great ambassadors. And so if you can provide quality care for these animals, and the individual animals, like I said, you said it's kind of like a pet. It's not, but in some ways it feels like a pet. The love you have for it. When you've got live animals, eventually you're going to have dead animals, and when that happens in the industry, a lot of people take it quite hard, like that work with these animals. And so, like we recently lost a lion, old age. Yeah, he was old.
I'd like to pretend you just misplaced him, but I know what you mean.
yeah, exactly. But the girl that runs the gift shop came down. We all came down to say our goodbyes, and she just runs the gift shop. And she was just beside herself.
I bet.
And so, these animals are getting the utmost care for the most part. Again, there's bad apples, but you can say that about anything. So I'm a hard keep on animals in zoos for sure.
Well, and to your point, the other thing that kind of became apparent to me at the dolphin thing was they were telling like all these dolphins, again, were either rescued or born here. Yeah. And they brought this one dolphin over to us so we could kind of pet it and just interact with it. And they said it was the same age as me. It was 40 years old at the time. Yeah. And they said the life expectancy for a dolphin in the wild is like 7 years.
Oh, wow.
But in captivity, they get dentistry, vaccines.
Yeah.
They get their meals are provided. Like they're living in an all-inclusive resort.
Yeah, exactly.
They have up with being in a zoo.
They have there is an argument to be made like these animals actually have it made.
Oh, 100%. So in the wild, like I give a lion presentation every day, and our lion just passed away at 18, right? And we still have one who's also 18.
Was it the male or the female?
The male.
Oh, wow.
It's easy, yeah. And so in the wild, a male lion, 10 years old, 12 max, like you're pushing it, because life is so harsh for a male lion in the wild. So it's like, oh, you care about lions, do you? Well, would you rather see this thing struggle and suffer and die?
Yeah.
And then expand that out, the population as a whole, because that's ultimately what's happening. Or would you rather see it, thrive here? It's got the utmost care.
Yeah.
And so, it's a big misconception out there.
I always joke with Melanie because she doesn't like hunting. She's not a big fan of it. So we have fun arguments about it. But I'm like, that a deer being taken by a hunter, that's going to be its quickest, most ethical death it's going to get.
Exactly.
These things don't die in Bobby's hospice surrounded by loved ones. They get eaten by coyotes, they get hit by cars, or they freeze to death. Those are the things that are going to happen.
Or starve. They could starve.
Or starve.
Ticks suck the life out of them.
Or ticks,
Yeah. I saw cousin Brad at Costco
my cousin,
yesterday, and he was in the frozen meat section. I felt like I caught him cheating. It's like, I didn't say anything to him. I just said hi, but I was like, wow, I thought this guy's freezers would be full.
His freezers are full. I can
ruin his whole image. Okay, quick follow up related to this. What are your thoughts on animals in circuses, particularly traveling circuses?
Okay, so the circus is kind of gone by the wayside, but I'm sure there are still some around. Again, are these animals getting the care they need? If they're performing, probably. You want to try to convince a tiger to do something it doesn't want to do?
Right.
Good luck. And the only way you can train these, or the most effective way, not the only way, you can use negative reinforcement. But
for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For a while until they've had enough.
Yeah.
Right? And so circuses.
I've heard those stories.
Right?
Those are fun. Look them up on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So if these animals are cooperating, then chances are they probably, again, have a relationship with that person that's based on positive things. It's possible it could be negative. So that one's a little more touchy, the circus.
Yeah.
But again, the circus served its purpose at the time. When circuses first came out, 100, 200 years ago, whatever it was, that was the only way that people got to see and learn about these animals. And again, so how are you going to care about the plight of these animals if you never get to connect with them?
My thought with circuses is even less around the performing thing, because sure, you can teach an animal to do tricks, but I don't know how you give it, like if you're on the road town to town, like how do you give a lion any sort of significant room to roam?
It's
or
probably
like a bear is probably in a
too much time in a crate.
Last question on this subject real quick. Exotic pets.
Okay.
You think it's great for people to have
the Tiger King?
Well, he was running a zoo, but he probably wasn't accredited. But again,
probably.
But
not.
again, you don't walk into a exhibit full of big cats and them not destroy you without them not liking you.
Right.
And so he's safest
doing
way to
something
do
right.
He was providing some level of care. Now I'm not going to vouch for Tiger King other
He's
than
a tough one to really
I
advocate
will
for.
say free Joe Exotic, but other than that, I'm not going to
free Joe Exotic.
There's a take I wasn't expecting. We are keeping Joe Exotic.
I forgot that was his name. That's incredible.
But no, I'm sure he wasn't accredited. But I mean, obviously
he might have been certifiable, but I don't think he was accredited.
And he'll say, he'll admit he was doing things wrong and stuff. But
among many other things he was doing wrong.
Zoo things, moral things, financial things.
When the tigers are the least crazy and interesting part of the whole show,
that's saying
something. So.
Maybe they actually were scared of him.
In hindsight, it really had nothing to do with the tigers.
Very little.
He was the whole show.
I mean, there was
that guy, the
shooting a few
guy.
of them here and there, but
the most stable character on that show was the double amputee with demonic clown legs. He was the most normal guy on the whole show.
I gotta go back and watch that.
You
now.
gotta
I've
really see it.
forgotten.
But yeah, no, it's probably a good thing he's out of business. But
That hit right when COVID happened,
yeah.
and so it was.
that had to be by design.
We were all locked inside with nothing to do but
Yeah.
watch
Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Tiger
Joe
King.
Exotic was actually behind
we
the
go.
coronavirus.
Well, speaking of conspiracies
All right.
and other kind of weird supernatural things.
Well, to cue this up too, we actually did a cryptid corner that was suggested by James back, I think season 1, where
Yeah.
we talked about the panther.
yeah.
So it's good to jump in with the myth, the man, the legend himself.
And we received a follow-up that may or may not have been from James about that later, saying that they had found
No, I
evidence
found
of
that.
it. Oh, did you
Yeah.
find that?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
find
I think
the
I
national
sent that
park. Yeah, you
maybe
did
to
send
you.
it to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was may not.
What's that?
I said may or may not. It was may not.
May not.
Yeah. So we got a few things here we want to pick your brain on, James. You are a twin, correct?
I am an identical twin.
Yeah. So people often report that twins have kind of anything from a special bond to something approaching like a supernatural connection, like being able to know what each other are thinking or feeling or even experiencing over significant distances. Have you ever had any experiences like that? And what do you make of the whole twin connection thing?
Okay, so I'll kind of connect the two worlds here. So yeah, I am an identical twin. I'm the second, 12 minutes late.
12
He was born
minutes.
12 minutes.
That's,
yeah,
that's a decent chunk older
Yeah,
than you.
no drugs, no. We were coming in hot, and anyway, yeah. So I'm 12 minutes younger than Mark, and we, growing up, got this question all the time, and so we had. So the answer is no.
Yeah.
To like, do I know what he's thinking? No, I can't read his mind, but yes, I do know what he's thinking. Like, we're that close. You know what I mean? I know what he'd be thinking of every situation just because I know him that well.
Right.
But growing up, we had a list, several lists that we would go through. Oh, yeah, we can read each other's minds. And then I would whisper something in your ear, and then he would repeat it. Oh, this is what he's thinking.
Oh, so you're
And we had
pre-planning.
we had it preset. We had several lists, and the shocking thing, it worked.
People believe
On
it.
people it shouldn't have worked on. Friend of the show, Mike Ross, we got him good at Catons. I
would've
think
worked on
Andrew
me.
Mays fell for it.
I would have fell for it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So no,
you wouldn't
in
have. You're a
that sense.
skeptic.
Depends on when in my life I encountered it. I in middle school dabbled a little bit with like illusion and magic and all that stuff, and that's all adjacent. And once you kind of learn how some of that stuff is done, it does just make you more skeptical of everything. You're like, there are ways to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That would have been the beautiful thing about that is it. Like if you guys got up on stage and did that, you'd go, yeah, they just pre-planned it. But who's pre-planning this just for a conversation over
Exactly.
lunch at camp?
Yeah, exactly.
The Cann boys, apparently. But yeah.
So no to that answer. But have you guys heard of Rupert Sheldrake, the scientist, and the theory of morphic resonance?
No.
You heard of that?
But
I
I'm
feel
here
like I've
for
heard
it.
the name.
So he's a Christian scientist. I think he's at one of those British Oxford.
As in
or
a Christian
something.
who is a scientist,
Yes.
or as in a guy who's part of the religion?
No, sorry,
Christian Science.
No, no. He's a Christian
believer.
he's a believer who
Okay.
is also a legit renowned scientist. We're at Cambridge. He's at Cambridge.
That's
And,
legit.
yeah, and he's got this theory of collective memory. So you're a hunter.
Yeah.
There's a reason you hunt moose and deer during the rut, because when they're horny, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're going to be hard to get. If an animal doesn't, right?
Yeah.
How often do they come in
Yeah.
and you missed it or it got away or like it knows you're there?
Yeah.
Right? An animal only is seen if it wants to be seen, usually. And if not, you got to put a high level of trickery into it, blinds, camo, and all this stuff. But he studies the sense called morphic resonance. So basically, the closer you are to something, nature has a collective memory. And so twins would be closer together. And so they can't read each other's minds, but
There's a resonance.
there's a resonance. And so
can buy that.
he claims that the Human Genome Project was a bust, and he puts all his stock in more. You look like your parents partly because of morphic resonance, not just because of
because you're around them.
genealogy, because you come from your mother in more of like a, not a physical sense, but a,
I mean, you see that with like people that look like their dogs.
Yep.
and so he studies that.
Or
He's-
old couples that have been married for like 80 years and start looking more like each other.
Yeah, and parents that adopt kids,
Yes,
they wind up
look-
looking the same,
yes.
right? And it's like, And so he studies the sense of being stared at. And his argument in part is animals know when you're looking at them. It's a natural predator-prey thing. And in my experience at work, if you're trying to catch an animal like out of a herd to like give it a needle or medicate it or it's injured or something, you can't, if you're looking at it, good luck catching it. You'll never catch it. You've just got to watch it out of the periphery of your eye, like I'm looking at you right now, Brent.
Wow.
That's because if you're staring at it, it knows. And so
Something inside just
something
resonating.
inside. So I don't know if there's like because obviously we've got our 5 senses, but animals' 5 senses, like a dog's nose is better than ours, right? Their ears. Do they have other senses?
And do we?
Exactly. So like, were humans at one point telepathic possibly, or are we on like are our brains on the edge of that and we like glitch into it from time to time, like you pick up a radio signal in and out, like
Well, and that's where like quantum entanglement kind of comes in too, right? Where you like there's those times where you were just thinking that thing and then it comes on the radio, or
so
like
the Sheldrake studies all that stuff.
kidding.
And it's an interesting kind of guy.
Sheldrake.
His book, I've never read it. It's called The Science Delusion. It was in response to one of his big critics, Darwin's God delusion, right? Or not Darwin, Dawkins. Yeah. Anyway, interesting guy, but look him up just in that kind of
that is
realm.
But so you've never had the experience like of like, ooh, I got to call my brother though. Like there's just something weird off or anything like that. Like that's I don't.
Knock on wood, no.
I've heard of people like claiming like I know exactly like read minds thing. I don't know if I buy that, but I have heard stories of someone just like, I don't know, man. I just had this like sense that something, and I called my twin, and it turns out whatever their dog just died or their whatever, like that kind of.
No, not to that degree, but we do have I know what he's thinking, and people will say like, we'll get comments all the time. I'll comment on someone's Instagram story or something, and they'll write back, Mark literally just commented the exact same thing word for word all the time. In school, we both did an art project, and it was the same picture. We were in different classes. Wow. Like stuff like that. So
maybe if you morphic resonance,
Rupert Sheldrake.
Maybe that's why I lost my hair. I come here, I'm around Ron, I'm around Jay and Dan and all these bald guys, and now she's going away.
I have a hunch that it was your job here that caused you to lose your hair, but not due to morphic resonance.
That could be too.
I think that's
maybe that's the way to get it
stress.
back.
I think there you go.
Do you see me hiring a disproportionate amount of guys with thick, luscious hair?
It's gonna be like 4 wolf men just wandering.
Yeah.
What do you do? I don't know, man. Brent just said hang out. I love it.
I have okay, so let's get into cryptozoology for a minute.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a New Brunswick-based cryptid I wanted to introduce to you. I have a video. I actually, it's been years since I've seen this, so we may have to edit. I don't think there's any swear words or anything, but bring it up and we'll introduce today's cryptid.
Hi, Dwayne here. Look, pretty excited today.
Dean's brother.
I was going to say.
Just about as excited as I've ever been. Well, there's been a time or two, but a little more excited. But anyway, this is pretty excited. I come out here today to look for swivel cats, and we know there's some in the area because they've been spotted. The boys out the sugar bush have spotted them. But I'll tell you something, I come on to something here today you won't believe. I found a track of a side hill gouger, and I'm going to show you right here. See this right here? There he is. Do you notice that the track is sideways? And that's because they're a side hill gouger. And I don't know if you knew all these things. I'm kind of a renowned expert on side hill gouger. I've been searching for these for years and finally found this track today. And that track is so fresh that it's hardly been made. Yeah, just seconds ago that cat walked away from here, that side hill gouger. And I'm gonna get a picture. I know that I'm gonna get a video, and I've looked all over the internet and reading, and there's not that I know of, there's not a picture or a video of a side hill gouger anywhere. This could make me world famous right here. These tracks, if I get a picture of this swivel cat.
He explains it here.
And
exactly.
or side hill gouger. I get them. They're kind of similar, and I'll tell you something else about a side hill gouger. their legs are longer on one side than the other, and that's because they walk on the side hill, and they have to be, and their paws are on, instead of facing ahead, they're facing this way. And something else you probably didn't know, there's left-handed side hill gougers and right-handed side hill gougers. So some of them have to live on the other side of the slope, and some have to live on this side of the slope. So anyway, we're going to be careful here. We're going to take off, and
There's only a couple seconds left.
we're going to
finish it
find
out.
a side hill gouger. She'll be world-breaking news, I'll guarantee you. Anyway, I'm going to sneak back around here, and we're going to go down over, sneak around this right here, and whoops! Holy old peavy.
Holy old peavy.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one. Listen, I don't canoe it. Man, that hurt.
All right, that's good, man.
Oh, goodness.
Man.
Shout out
lie.
to Carlton County, the cultural hotbed of New Brunswick.
I mean, two mystical things, or mythical things there. We got Side Hill Gouge, we got Swivel Cats, and you got the Carlton County dialect on
Yes.
full display.
I love the idea that there's a left-handed one and right-handed one, because that means if it goes, like, it has to back up to go. You know what I
Go
mean? Like,
anywhere.
it can't turn around and go back.
So good. I think that's for those local. That's Dean Stevenson, the Caton's director for years.
Yeah.
Which you worked
Yeah, oh yeah.
there, and with him, that's his late brother. I think he passed away a year or two ago. Not that one.
Not that one.
Okay, so
Swivel
he's
cat
still
got
out.
him.
He's still
Yeah, that's right.
he's still out looking for swivel cats.
He is, yeah.
And side
Yeah,
hill gougers.
so-
Gougers.
Have you? So the first question: have you seen a swivel cat?
I have not. You know, I'm not gonna lie. He had me in the beginning there. I thought he was serious. No, I've never seen.
What are the most outside of the panther, which I think's been confirmed?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the most plausible cryptids in your opinion?
Cryptids.
Like
Glover.
Yeah. Like Bigfoot, chupacabra, all that.
So I think the chupacabra is probably legit. I mean, have you heard of the Maine mystery beast?
No.
So it was basically this weird dog that got hit on this. They found its carcass on the side of the road somewhere in Maine.
You can pull that up.
Not
Maine
long
mystery
ago.
beast.
It's just it looks like a dog, but it's just ugly. Like no dog you've ever seen.
like beyond mangy.
Yeah,
Like,
just it's black. It's got these weird blue eyes. The shape of its skull is kind of bizarre, like a short snout, high forehead.
Birth
Just
defects.
Weird dog. Anyway, and one theory behind the Maine mystery beast is it could be a chupacabra, because really it's just like a vampire bat,
Right.
But just in a dog-ish form. So the chupacabra, I think, is probably legit.
So when you say you think chupacabra could be real, as in there's a species of animal that represents that, or there's just some one weird deformed something else that people are reporting to be the chupacabra?
Okay, so fun answer, that.
Okay.
Real answer, it could be just some species of dog type thing,
Right.
right? Common down like Mexico, Texas, right? They're
Yep.
always draining cattle of their blood, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think chupacabra, probably legit. There it is right there.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the Maine mystery beast.
If you see, like you're a podcast listener, this is what you're missing out
You're
on.
right, yeah,
You're
that's true.
Our listeners aren't seeing this Maine mystery beast. That
Yeah.
is, I don't know what that would be.
I would say go ahead and Google it for yourself, but I'd prefer you just watch this on YouTube, so then we'll get the views.
Yeah, go ahead.
There you
So
go.
give us a listen on whatever your listening platform is for the listen-only people. Then,
Yeah. Another thing, I've been to Congo quite a few times, and the Congo Basin has been largely left unexplored, apparently.
Really?
And the rumors are there's a famous cryptid, Mokope Membe or something like that, basically a brontosaurus living in the jungle of the Congo. And then they talk about basically pterodactyls.
Really?
Yeah, they got to bury the dead extra deep because these
They'll dig 'em up?
flying lizards will come and dig them up.
Wow.
And so that place is a wild place, just even
Congo?
in the Congo
What
altogether.
had you there? Like,
So Moncton Wesleyan had a big Congo mission. I went
Okay.
7 times throughout my 20s. We did a lot of mission work there and stuff. So we had a friend pass away back in 06. I don't know if you Matt Murray. It was during Beulah
Oh, yeah,
Week
yeah.
on high. Anyway,
remember that?
and we had gone on a missions trip the year before, grade 12 missions trip. Dave Steves took us to Cambodia, and we were kind of getting into that side of things. And then Matt passed away, and so we're like, well, we're going to do some type of trip to honor Matt. And we went and built a school in his name in the Congo. And then we just kept going back, just doing more and more projects. But that's how we wound up there.
Okay.
And then that place, though, is Congo is a wild place. It's like hell on earth in a lot of ways, but it's like you're only going there if you live there, you're going to exploit it, or looking for dinosaurs and gorillas or something like that, right?
Isn't that where they're making a lot of the cell phone parts? Like they're digging up
lithium or whatever?
Lithium,
Yeah, so the huge mining, and that's actually right in the province that we would go to, Katanga province, and because they're so rich in minerals, they've had a separatist movement going on there for a long time. But it's a dangerous spot. But the jungle there is just crazy. And apparently there's dinosaurs. There's what they say. There's a famous cryptid photo of a huge snake. Have you ever seen that? Like it's like a 50-foot long, just gigantic snake that floats around. Apparently that was taken in the 50s.
Like an anaconda? Anaconda?
No, bigger than that. Like is like that big around kind of thing. Like just crazy, just like nothing that exists apparently. So I think there's some cryptids in the Congo. To answer your question.
Is your take on the cryptids though? Basically, are we talking just undiscovered species? Is your kind of theory, or are we talking Nephilim and different realms? Like a lot of people that are into the Sasquatch space, say they're interdimensional beings, and
both.
Yeah,
both. I think there's things that we don't know. One thing I hate is what you don't know, or what you know doesn't tell you anything about what you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
You only know what you know.
Yeah.
What you don't know, you don't know. And so to write something off as impossible, especially when there's evidence of it, at least some evidence, it's worth looking at. So I think it's both. I think there's definitely undiscovered species in the Congo Basin. Are they dinosaurs? I don't know. But I do think some cryptids are, they're in and out of different realms or whatever through thin spots or veils or portals or whatever. Skinwalkers, those types of things.
Yeah, I mean,
they say, like you said, the Bigfoot, they say, is talk about sense of being stared at. Well, how come there's no pictures of the Bigfoot? Because he knows when he's being watched, even by a trail cam.
Right. I think there is. It's fun. It's fun to talk about this stuff, but there is an actual like discipleship / like theological benefit in if you can't process mystery and the unknown, like I don't think your worldview is actually biblical. Yeah. Like there should be a ton of room for all kinds of weirdness if you take seriously what like Scripture says.
I think a lot of Christians in the West are functional materialists.
Yes,
and I'm the farthest thing from anti-science, but I don't think science can completely encapsulate a thorough and comprehensive accounting. Currently, maybe someday it'll get there, right? But like, I don't think what science has proved and what is real, you can't make those be the same list.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And you have to have mental room for that. And to your point, Brent, when you don't, you also have, if you can't even conceive of the notion that there's some significant creature that we haven't discovered, or that there's creatures that have some sort of other, whatever, dimensional, spiritual, whatever. I'm not saying you have to believe in them, just definitely not believe in them. Then I think you honestly are setting yourself up for having a harder time believing in angels, harder time believing in healing, harder time, like anything that doesn't fit with that. We reproduce this in a lab, or we got a specimen under glass somewhere kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an example of that. So I'm just like, I'm a blue collar, been a Christian my whole life, 6 years old, Miss Hanson's Sunday school class in Fredericton.
Pastor Greg's mom.
Pastor Greg's mom.
Wow, shout out.
Yeah, and my testimony is that's basically it. Yeah. That's the testimony right there.
The best testimonies, man.
Well, yeah. But I've often, because I've always been interested in animals, but I've often struggled with creation versus evolution. Things that don't quite make sense. What was Goliath?
Right.
Things. I remember my Bible as a kid talked about the Leviathan, tail like a cedar tree, and it's got this little note, was probably a hippopotamus.
What?
Have you seen the tail of a hippopotamus? It's like this long, right? And so for me, only recently, honestly, and credit to the Blurry Creatures
Yeah,
podcast,
totally.
honestly,
Yeah.
that this type of conversation has grown my faith
Agreed.
significantly. Like I'll admit to being quite a big conspiracy theorist, but I would listen to these. I've heard on conspiracy podcasts that were not in any way Christian, and this is a question that often come up. People would ask you throughout your life, why is the God of the Old Testament so violent? I thought he's a loving God. How come he's killing all the women and children? And then I heard on this conspiracy podcast, well, maybe they weren't human or fully human.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Well, that's a big take on the conquest of Canaan, right? Like you'll have some people. There's two different spots. The conquest of Canaan being really about like Joshua and then ultimately David ridding the world of the remnants of the Nephilim, basically. Like that's why he kills Goliath, and then it talks about him going after Goliath's brothers.
Yeah.
Basically, and that like God is trying to exterminate like these hybrid creatures. That's a theory. Again, I think the healthy part though is just being open to. I don't have everything down like tied down nice, neat, and tidy. And we don't live in a world that actually like lends itself to that anyway. And the Bible certainly doesn't. And I'm with you. I have grown a ton by just like having the lid kind of taken off my imagination a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Because you hear like, so what, the only miracle is the resurrection?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing kicks off with a talking snake, but
like or just creation itself.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
it's a John Tyson say about like or it's not John Tyson. I think I heard him say it. I forget who did the quote, but like pick your miracle, the virgin birth or the virgin birth of the universe. Like like
well, when that happened, right? When the Big Bang Theory came out, a lot of scientists didn't like it. We're trying to shove it away because it's essentially physical proof of God spoke everything into being in a sentence, right? And so for me, exploring this,
it was a Catholic priest who came out with it.
With the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I mean, he was a scientist too, but it was actually it came from a Christian source, but they'd always believed in the eternality of matter, as in matter has always existed, so it didn't need to be created. And all of a sudden this said, no, it had a starting point. Like the universe had a starting point, and they were like, no.
Yeah. It does kind of undercut them.
Totally.
Another thing on the other, so there's the conquest of Canaan and Genesis 6 as well. That's another take on why did God wipe the earth's population and what was distinct about Noah.
Yeah.
And some like it's in one of I have a Hebrew commentary that like it actually says some people believe that Noah was the last pure line of humans.
There you go.
And so he was the last family that wasn't corrupted by descendants of the.
You'd have to kind of pick one or the other if you actually believe in a truly worldwide flood, though, right? Like if only Noah's family survived, then there would have been no one left in Canaan after that for.
Well, that I know it causes all kinds of different
unless
problems.
it wiped out all the humans.
Well, but
some of the Nephilim survived.
well, that's the thing. The giants do show up again, right? Like after
Water
the flood.
covered the top of the mountains up to like 6 feet, but the giants were tall enough. They just stood like this for 40
Just waited it out.
They had snorkels.
But I don't know. Like guys, you're pastors. I'm just again a blue collar guy who's grown up in the church, never hearing you guys joked about Ken Ham last week, but at least Ken Ham's talking about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sitting here thinking, well, what's this? And it doesn't seem to all add up. And how am I supposed to believe or defend this or whatever? And so, just in the last couple of years, this type of conversation has just honestly grown my faith to the point where I'm way more confident in my faith than I ever was. Now I don't have the articulation of pastor, but
I think
a theologian.
that like functional imperialism, like that's a real thing, and it's a wet blanket on our faith, right? Like it just dampens like some air that we need in our spirit, our minds, our imaginations to allow like us to actually process mystery and things we don't know. And like, it's okay to shrug your shoulders and say, I don't know what sense to make of the fact that there's still giants after the flood, or I don't know why God is so violent. Why I can't neatly explain some of the violence in the Old Testament. I don't know. Maybe.
I think we often end up functionally confining the supernatural to scripture and our afterlife.
Right.
So there's like even people who are, oh no, I believe the Bible and it's true and all those miracles actually happened. Like it's not that you don't believe in that, but then you're like, and then nothing that can't be explained by like empirical data and science and observation happens until I die. And then I go to heaven, and that's supernatural.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to have that mental category for the supernatural, the unexplained, the miraculous, like I think that is a healthy thing to do. I would say I also think it's really healthy. Like I think a certain flavor of skepticism is really healthy, but not a skepticism that's driven by cold materialism, but that simply just goes like, I don't believe everything, but I also don't just discount something for, you know, whatever, it doesn't fit in this little box, but just to go like, it's possible. I'm open to being convinced. I'm not, you know, I don't fall for everything. I don't believe everything that anyone ever says. I don't not think for myself. But at the same time, like, I think there's this idea that being that kind of, when I say materialism, I don't mean like you're really into buying stuff. I mean, you believe that the material is all that, as one of my theological mentors would say, that the material does not exhaust the real, right? Like there are things that are real that are not material. Materialists don't believe that. There's just what I can taste and touch, and that I think if you're not careful and you do hold to that, again, you begin to box God in because he doesn't fit within that. And so, yeah, you need to have some level of ability to wrestle with things and chew on things and not just to fall for every idea that comes along. But again, if you want to talk about being skeptical and thinking for yourself, materialist thought, cold, like not just science, but scientism, like science as an all-encompassing worldview,
as a religion,
is also not thinking for yourself.
Yes.
Like you didn't do those experiments.
Yeah.
You didn't run, like you're just taking what someone told you.
And their conclusions about,
which are filtered through their own, like even a great,
brought to you by Pfizer.
even a great, well-intentioned, noble, whatever scientist is still passing it through the lens of their preconceptions and the limitations of their five senses and their limited brain, right? Yeah. And that doesn't mean they can be wrong without being bad or sinister or, you know, malicious. They just might not be right.
Yeah, I think being too closed off is really detrimental to your faith and your health. I also think there is a equal and opposite ditch too. Like it gets not helpful to stay in that space of wondering, and you know, that's like Paul talks in one of the letters. He's like, guys, like chill out on the angel genealogy stuff. Like it's not helping you. It's, you know, you're wasting your time. Like focus more on like the gospel and mission and evangelism. Like these can be distractions, even if they are, you know, even if there's a level of health trying to, you know, pull back out of the over cynical views, I guess. So I think there's a sweet spot there where we kind of need to, I think the average person that we're dealing with in church or in North America for that matter, though, are maybe too open to the narratives they've been fed and too closed off on anything that might be an alternate take. Yeah. And if you take your Bible seriously, the mainstream narratives don't fit nice and neat and tidy. And it does say quite a bit in the Bible about, like, you know, the devil is the ruler of the powers of the air, like the governments that are driving agendas. Like call me a conspiracy theorist. Like I don't trust that Canadian Parliament or American Parliament. Well, I mean, Trump's clearly Jesus's guy, but
obviously,
no, but like these human institutions are ultimately like being more influenced by the powers and principalities of darkness, in my opinion. And so you should be alert and aware of some of the stuff that you're being fed and the ways that you're being taught to think. And I think just coming out of that, being open to mystery, letting the scripture actually say what it says, and then just wrestling with, oh, I don't know, or that I can't explain that. Like, it's healthier to not have explanations than to have the wrong explanation.
Totally. One of the things I love about there's a common statement in a lot of kind of statements of faith or good theology about Scripture will say that Scripture contains everything that is necessary for like salvation, life, and godliness, which does not mean it contains everything, or it doesn't mean everything it mentions, it explains thoroughly. It just goes, no, this is like, it has a point. And so there's some of those things that are mysteries that, again, you can't write them off, but you can't. I also get a little skeptical when someone goes like, there's something that seems implied in 3 verses spread out all across Scripture, and I've triangulated them together and come up with a thorough theory.
That's
like,
where you can go too far with it.
totally, yeah. But again, I think the answer is not to go definitely nothing or definitely this guy's overdeveloped. You go like, no, Scripture mentions it. There's something there, but at the same time, you don't have to go like, Scripture's not telling us everything. Well, no, it never said it was telling us everything.
Just
It's
what's
telling us
necessary.
everything that's necessary for,
Yeah, that's huge. Well, speaking of healthy, do you want to? Okay, let's do it.
I mean, if we're up for it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All
So,
Got one.
we're going. This is. I gotta say, James, you've brought the most conspiracy corner.
yeah, we're
out
going
of us
we're going
ever.
suspected I might.
you
deep
win.
on this stuff. So, we want to talk about this thing called the Roman dodecahedron. And Ron, I believe you got a video for us there to introduce this. Fire it up.
Can I?
Oh yeah.
Is one of the most intriguing and mysterious artifacts from ancient Rome. Its exact purpose remains a mystery, sparking numerous competing theories. This hollow object features 12 pentagonal faces, each with holes of different sizes, and small spherical knobs on each corner point of the pentagons. One theory suggests it was a sophisticated measuring tool. By looking through the holes at a fixed distance, a soldier or surveyor could determine how far an object, like a military standard, was placed.
In theory.
Rotating the dodecahedron would enable measurements at various distances, explaining the varying hole sizes. The presence of knobs may have helped with grip and alignment, making it easier to manipulate for accurate calculations. This tool could have been invaluable for setting up roads, fortifications, or even gauging enemy range in battle. Others suggest a more symbolic or religious role. Some think it was a candle holder, a knitting tool for making gloves, or even a game piece. Over 100 have been discovered across Europe, from Britain to Hungary, yet no ancient texts mention them. Without written records or new archaeological evidence, the true purpose of the Roman dodecahedron remains an enduring enigma, one of the lost secrets of Roman civilization.
Dun dun dun.
So yeah, so this the Roman dodecahedron. If you're just listening, you can Google it. It's a super. I've been doing a deep dive on this. I mean, I say deep dive. I watched 3 or 4 like long form videos on this, and it really is fascinating. So yeah, there's no markings on it that would indicate.
For our listeners, you're holding one.
I am holding a 3D printed
An original Roman
3D printed
3D
by
printed.
Caesar himself. Yeah, so it's like roughly. I mean, they come in all different sizes. The one I'm holding is roughly the size of a baseball, but they've been found all over an area referred to as Gaul. So they call it a Roman dodecahedron, but there's none of them actually in Rome. They've never been found in Italy.
So they even know it's Roman?
Well, it's from the Roman Empire era, but one of the theories is that it was actually something that was more specific to that area of the empire culturally. So sometimes people call it the Roman Gallic, as in from Gaul, which is mostly France, but some other areas and some in Great Britain. The Roman Gallic or Gaelic, Gallic, I think. Anyways, dodecahedron, and like we heard in the video, this theory that it was used for kind of like range finding, either in war or for roads, but there's no like markings on it, no letters, no numbers that would even tell you like what does it mean if I'm looking through this hole to that hole.
It truly makes no sense.
It really doesn't. Some people say it's a candle holder, but why would you need 12 different, like how many different size holes would you have? Also, it was far more common in those days to use oil, like oil lamps.
Right,
That was very
instead of
plentiful
wax.
instead of candles. And most of the ones that have been found don't have any sort of like wax residue on them or anything, which they would. There's a few different ways that it can be used for braiding or making like rope or knitting fingers for gloves. But again, like, do you really have to like, if you're making gloves for somebody, you got to get them to stick a finger in a hole until you find the hole that like, it's just, there's really not a lot of great explanations. Now that said, the majority of the experts that I've listened to, that video just kind of alluded to it, but they seem to kind of default to this question of this idea that it had some sort of religious significance, that it was part of some religious ceremony or was an object used in some form of worship. and that also explains its limited distribution. Like if it was for making roads, it would have been all over the Roman Empire. If it was for, ranging enemies in battle, it would have been all over the Roman Empire. If it was for making rope, it would have been all over the Rome. But religions were much more isolated, right? They would conquer a people. They'd become part of your empire, but not necessarily change their religious beliefs. So first question, do you guys have a theory?
I heard about it for the first time yesterday when you sent it to me, so I had to look it up. I do not have a theory. I'm lost on it.
Same. I've actually held this beast.
There you go.
If we get sick or visitations in the night, my theory that this is a religious artifact that should be jettisoned will be getting strong. But I don't know, man. I think it could be some weird ancient alien thing. Maybe it's the key to a spaceship.
There you go.
There you go.
100 keys to 100 spaceships.
Probably more likely, it's probably the most dumb household item that just.
Well, but here's the thing: they're all made out of bronze or copper, and would have been quite expensive to make at the time. And so they've been some people have been found buried with them, but also they've just been found in random places.
I'm trying to think of something in our culture or society though that if you fast forwarded 2,000 years and had no context for it, would just be what could this be?
One video I watched, the guy
plunger or something.
Said, is this basically that era's equivalent of a fidget spinner or the Newton's cradle thing that would sit on?
Yeah.
But again, the thing they keep coming back to is they actually would have been quite expensive, both the material in them, but also the level of craftsmanship it took to create them. This was not something that would just be easily mass produced. You'd have to have a very skilled metal worker to make it.
Maybe it was a status thing.
Yeah,
if you were rich, your kids had the dodecahedron. What is it called?
Don't forget your dodecahedron.
All the cool kids were taking them to school.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's truly one of the few things that there really is no good explanation for, and clearly has been fashioned and designed. This is something that somebody made.
High skill.
Yeah. So it's very weird. I mean, it does stand to reason that it is Roman because there is a handful of those things within. There's been a lot lost in the Roman Empire that we still haven't figured out certain things they used to do to construct things.
Totally.
It's quite fascinating, really. We forget about that. We think that human progress is just this continual, perpetual march forward.
Yeah.
But typically, when the Persian Empire fell, they lost a bunch of things that had been, previously advanced, and then even more so when the Roman Empire fell, society went back hundreds of years.
It's wild if you look if you actually understand what the levels of technology that the Romans had. And then you look at medieval England, and you realize that medieval England, the Roman Empire was in England, and there were things there they didn't know how to fix that the Romans had made, and it'd be if you had a computer and you knew how to work it, but you didn't know how to fix it, and eventually something crashed, and you're just I guess we don't have computers anymore,
Or it might be if you went to the moon, but then you didn't remember how to get back. And couldn't do it. It'd be like that too.
Well, so here's the bigger question I want to ask about this though, because it does seem that whenever there's some sort of historical artifact or location or building that we can't figure out what it is. Again, the majority, it seems to me from my research on this, the majority consensus is it has some sort of religious thing. You see the same idea with Stonehenge or all these other ancient buildings. Why do you think it is that the royal we, generally historians and archaeologists, but we as humanity, when we can't figure out what the purpose of something ancient is, we tend to assume it had a religious significance. Why do we go with that versus
that's a great question.
A plunger or a fidget spinner or, clearly this was this is where the ancient Druids had their flea market. Why do we assume it has some big religious significance?
You got a take on it?
You guys are the religious experts.
I'm not.
You tell me.
I think it comes down to trying to make that discovery more significant. It's just and religion would be of the highest significance we have. Saying you gave us a megalodon tooth, right? Why is that cool? Because it's probably one of the most significant, cool extinct animals that's ever roamed the earth. Like it's cool because it's big. It's so there's a level of significance to it. There's probably lots of prehistoric other items out there, but it's not a megalodon piece. Like that's you're talking about a great white shark the size of a city transit bus. Like that's cool. So I think we default to that just to try to connect it to significance more than anything. Maybe transcendence is the word.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I'd buy that. I sometimes wonder if it doesn't come back to what we were talking about with the whole materialism thing, that they assume if it had a practical purpose, they'd be able to understand it. And so if not, they throw it into the irrational, what would to a lot of scientists would be the irrational category of religion. Yeah.
Like this makes no sense. Obviously,
it's got to be religious. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like if it had a purpose, if it was utilitarian, we'd be able to understand it because we understand, we understand everything that's real. So it has to be connected to something that's not real in order to explain why we can't understand it. Like almost like a little bit of hubris in it.
Yep, that's a good take.
So James, we've got some questions we want to ask you.
First, rapid fire?
Yeah, fairly rapid fire. Then we got one at the end. Maybe we'll chew on for a bit. But how on earth do you become a zookeeper?
Yeah, so I did it the unconventional way.
Is there a conventional way?
Well, I guess you would go to school and take something like zoology, or veterinary science.
Because I've never seen like a place offering like a degree in zookeeper.
Oh yeah, there's a whole school in Truro, the agricultural college. You can get an animal science degree there. Any of the big universities, you can get those things. But for me, I've had a lifelong interest in animals. I'm not passionate about animals. Passion clouds your judgment, but I find them interesting. Yeah, always have, like my whole life. And so how I started at the zoo was my brother and I were painting murals.
Your twin brother?
My twin brother, yeah. We were painting murals as our job. Like that was our job. We'd paint murals at like churches, daycares, things like that. And I wrote the city. So the Magnetic Hill Zoo was owned by the city of Moncton.
Yeah.
And so we wrote the city said, Moncton should have murals everywhere like Sussex and Amherst. And they're like, no, not interested. I'd like to point out 5 years later, there's murals everywhere. Anyway.
Someone has to break that.
Yeah, no, not interested.
If you were ever looking for a reason to insult Moncton, the fact that it was looking to Sussex for inspiration. Guys, can we catch up with Sussex and even worse, Amherst?
Amherst is worse.
The armpit of Atlantic Canada.
We love you, Amherst.
So,
no, I don't.
So anyway, so the zoo took us up on it. They're like, yeah, we would be interested. And so I started painting murals there. And then a guy that worked in the maintenance shop would come and talk to us on his lunch hour and watch us paint. And he was saying that he was moving out west, and I knew that his position would be open. And so I asked the manager who had hired us on contract to paint murals for the last 2 summers, what do I have to do to work here? Because I'd like to work here. And he's like, well, if you want to work with animals, you need some type of post-secondary education, which I didn't have.
Yeah.
ABU dropout after 6 months. And so Crandall, for those that are, So anyway, so I said, oh, shoot, I don't have that. He's like, well, the Canadian accredited zoos and aquariums have a course that they designed to get people that are already working at a zoo facility, but not with the animals, trained up to be qualified zookeepers. And it's their own course, so they like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, it's online on your own time. So I was like, great, I'll sign up for that. So I signed up for that, and then doing that, you had to write your exams at the zoo, and they would mail them into the CASA headquarters, and I handed my test in on the boss's desk, and I saw a card that said, good luck on your new venture, Robert, which is the guy that was leaving. So I knew he was leaving.
Okay.
And so I applied, got my foot in the door, got hired as the janitor, and then I was a casual employee. I got laid off that winter when the zoo closed and finished my courses, came back. I was qualified, and they would call me over the radio. James, we're going to need you in animal care today. And that happened like 95% of the days I was getting pulled up to be a zookeeper now that I had qualified. And so eventually they made it right and brought me over officially.
Wow. Nice.
And that's how I became a keeper.
Kind of from ground up.
Yeah.
Ground up.
Started in the proverbial mailroom.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom, now we here.
There you go. My brother is a mailman, actually. My twin brother. So yeah,
we had a mailman in last week.
Yeah. We're very storybook blue collar. We're not like HVAC or welders. We're like the zookeeper, mailman.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best part of working at a zoo?
Oh, obviously getting a relationship with the animals. Like they get to know you, you get to know them. Like my job is, I'm not a veterinarian. or an expert in veterinary medicine or anything. My job is to take care of the animal, train it, but really my job is to know it, right? Like I've got to know, you know them and you know, oh, something's off. Oh, this is different. What's going on? And then you can pass it up the chain to the veterinarian or things like that. So just building that relationship with the animal and getting to see them up close all the time is just fascinating.
With some of like the more dangerous animals, like how do you safely do that? Because like you would obviously start to build up a rapport with them, but then you also could be food.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that work?
So we've got quite strict like safety protocols, obviously. The most dangerous animal is not a little thing that like a little tiny monkey that poses no risk to you. So you interact, you share space with them.
Yeah.
And the big things dangerous things you never share space with. So we go code lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight is how we classify them. The big cats are obviously heavyweights.
Yeah.
You never share space with them. Yeah. There's always a barrier between you. And so they're easy to deal with if you're following your protocols.
They're able to get to know you though, even.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just a fence or glass is always between you, and we train them and stuff like that. But the most dangerous part is the middleweight category. Something that is...
What's an example? Like what's a middleweight
example? Would be like, depending, and it's all depending on their personalities, but like large hoof stock.
Okay.
Mid-sized primates.
Yeah.
Wolves.
Okay.
Those types of things. So things that are dangerous enough, if they wanted to, they could hurt you, and you've got to watch your back, but aren't so dangerous that you can't share the same space.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those are the tricky ones.
If
that
things
you gotta,
went sideways, you could probably get away with your life.
Yeah,
but you're gonna be hurt.
Yeah. So that's kind of that middle ground, but we have very strict safety, and it's getting even stricter. Yeah. And so much so they're probably going to have to hire more staff to accommodate for it. Like you're not allowed. It's soon the industry standard will be you're not allowed to work with a big cat by yourself.
Right.
And so, but there's always a barrier between you, but you got to pay attention. Like our tiger building houses a tiger and used to house a leopard when we had one. And in that building, between the animal doors that they use and the man doors that people use, there's 32 doors.
Oh, wow.
And so you've got to, okay, I've got this door closed, this door open, the animal is here. I want it over there. I'm here. You're always converting, you're converting animal space into human space when I've got to go in and clean up or whatever. And so you got to have your wits about you. And it is kind of a mentally
You don't want to open the wrong door.
You don't want to open the wrong door. That's right. Wow. And so it's also kind of I feel like it's a job that's hard on like your nervous system. Cause
I'm sure.
I feel on the subconscious level, you're always like, giant predator right there as close as I am to you.
Yeah. Even if you're not actively thinking about it.
I know I'm safe, but it's still there. And like, one of the things
also you're safe if you don't screw up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so,
maybe there's a morphic resonance that's saying, I want to eat you.
Have you tried, if a big cat comes after you, have you tried just looking at him?
Well, so lions are intimidated by direct eye contact.
Are they?
Lions are. But with cats, you slow blink at them. That is a
slow blink?
Slow blink at a cat is a sign of like friendship or
would that even work with a house cat?
Do it. You've got cats, right?
Yeah, they don't like me.
You go home.
I like them, and they don't like me.
Just slow blink a few times at them, and they will do it in return. I guarantee you.
That.
Yeah,
fascinating.
My wife won't be listening this far into the podcast, so she won't get that trick. And then I'm going to turn. I'm going to be their favorite.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, but be like. To one of the things I enjoy, it sounds kind of weird, to witness because they're not tame,
right?
And they're not domesticated. Now they live in captivity, but they're still wild animals in their nature, and it's to just witness on occasion that like primal
when they let it
rage, when they just let it go, to experience a tiger just letting out its full aggression right just a foot from your face and that happens like. Personality switch, chuffing, rubbing against the fence like a cat does, wanting scratches with
like
the
a
stick.
Little cute.
And then you give it the food, and especially if it's like a high value item like a whole moose leg or something, then they just go right into that primal rage. And to experience that rate up close is a thing few people get to experience, and most people that get to experience, it's the last thing they experience.
It's got to be pretty humbling. Like,
This is pretty neat. Oh,
It's very humbling. We've had guys that are like, "Oh, I don't care. I don't even flinch. I don't even blink." I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
right.
you're an idiot. If you're not flinching at
You
that,
better.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah, and so, but again, no, that's fun. Just getting to know the animals. And
what are
being
your
right there with
favorite
them.
ones to typically work with?
So I've worked with all of them. Right now, I'm the lead Africa keeper, so I'm mostly primates. But I do also have the lions, camels, zebra.
mostly primates, you say?
Mostly primates. Yeah,
Would that include, say, very small monkeys?
You know what? I do. There's 2 species of primates that I don't look after, and they are the smallest 2 we have.
Dude, the
I'm
big
mid-sizing
cats.
up.
The big cats are so much cooler than the monkeys.
Look, dude,
Like,
we've been over this with dogs. Same principle. I love the little tiny ones.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan of cats.
man.
Cats are my favorite animals.
Do you have a pet cat?
Yeah, we've got 2 cats. Yeah, we'll get a dog. We got 3 little kids.
Okay, I'm gonna tell my wife because build the case for cats as pets. As a cat guy,
Okay, so
why are they superior?
a dog is. I'm not saying they're superior.
Yeah.
But they don't get the credit they deserve. A dog is
fair.
easy to love. A dog's a social animal by nature. It loves you.
I mean,
Probably before you even love it.
I mean, wasn't it Norm Macdonald that made the case that Hitler had a dog?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that dog thought Hitler was the best
greatest
person
guy ever.
in the world, wagging his tail when Hitler came home.
Right? Exactly. Dog's easy to please. Cat is a solitary animal by nature for the most part, with the exception of lions. It doesn't care what you think. Domestic cats are essentially using humanity.
Yes.
What a compelling case you built.
They
don't like you. They're
Well, this
using
is
you.
the thing. Everything is on their own terms. They'll cuddle you, let you pet them when they want it, and so it's more valuable because they're bringing it to you, kind of thing, right?
It's like my wife.
I'll stick with my dog that's been bred for generations to need me and want me.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean,
Maybe that's
part
why
of-
your wife likes cats so much. She feels a certain camaraderie with them.
Yeah, and I'm trying to win all of them over.
Have you tried slow blinking at Mel? You go home.
Yeah.
Hang on.
No, the slow wink.
James, the
that'll get
zookeeper
it
said
for
this
you.
would work.
No, just
girl.
one eye, the wink, that'll do it. No, so cats are the laziest animals on the planet, while simultaneously being the most athletic animals on the planet.
They are optimized to murder. Too.
They-
it is
they are-
insane.
Pure carnivore. If it moves, it must die. Like they are they're cunning, they're clever, they're mysterious. They're just super interesting. And this is the best thing about a house cat. Having worked and experienced lots, a house cat is just a scaled down version of a big cat.
Totally.
The mannerisms, the behaviors are the exact same. Wow. And so it's like, I'm a big cat fan. The cats are underrated for sure and
agree.
overhated big time.
I have no problem. I mean, I'm a dog guy. Lewis is my boy, but I like my cats, even though they don't like me.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate those little murder mittens.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
like just how can something be so cute and so deadly at
So
the same
savage.
time?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty cool.
I do like our cat. I'm not a big cat guy. I mean, I'm not a.
Is it
I'm
bigger than your dog? It
Oh,
probably
significantly.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, the last time our dog has put on a couple pounds and our cat has lost a few pounds, but the last time we weighed them, our cat was to the pound three times bigger than our dog.
Oh, wow.
7-pound dog, 21-pound cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So big cats are your
Big
your
cats,
favorite?
yeah, and I've got to see them in the wild. When we go to Congo, I'm not crossing the ocean and not tacking a safari on.
Yeah.
And so I've had a lot of cool, close encounters there too, and that's in Kenya and Tanzania with big cats. And to see them in the wild doing their thing is just like
There's some place I think it's in Tanzania because I had a couple pastor friends go there and they both had video of them walking with two huge lions. Like it seems super sketchy.
Yeah,
but-
those wouldn't be fully wild lions. They would have been raised to some degree
Yeah, it
with
still
and around
seems
people. But
terrifying.
Oh yeah,
like
it would
that
be.
you'd-
We used to go when we lived in Nova Scotia and our kids were younger. We'd go to it was the Oaklawn Farm Zoo back when that was a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And there was a
yeah.
lady there. She'd just wander in with the lions and hand feed them with 6 or 7 pugs.
Yeah.
Like her dog, she just had a bunch of dogs that would follow her around.
Yeah, she was the owner.
And dude, it was the craziest thing. And I'm like, it was, I believe at the time, the largest lion in captivity.
Fattest, yeah.
Well, yeah, like, by weight or whatever, but still like a massive animal. And you're just like, how is she getting away with
the
this?
only way you do that is you raise them from infancy. So they would have been raised with those pugs. It's the safest way to do it. But CASA standards, you're not allowed to share space with a big cat after 6 months of age.
Okay.
So I've raised or helped raise several jaguars and tigers, but after 6 months old, we stop.
That must be hard, kind of, eh? Because you're probably playing with them and
Yeah,
stuff.
it
when
depends
little.
if they need to be fully hand raised, then it's kind of hard because they are like fully like imprinted on you. But sometimes we just help, like we have to supplement bottle feeding to like the runt, or you just interact with them because they're going to be in a zoo environment, so you want them at least used to people.
Right.
And when you have to do that, they're not really having it. They're like, they're still got that edge, as opposed to one that was fully hand raised is very much.
Okay.
Is there an animal that you would love to work with that you've never had the chance to?
Yeah, I got to work. I went to a zoo in Quebec and had to pick up a leopard and bring it back to our zoo.
Was it the Quebec City one?
Granby Zoo.
Okay.
Granby Zoo, yeah.
Oh, we were at the aquarium
Quebec
last
Aquarium.
week.
Okay.
I took
Polar
the kids-
bears?
Dude.
Yeah, wild, eh?
Insane. They
Yeah.
are so enormous.
Yeah.
And you can
They
get
are
right
the
up to the
largest
glass.
land carnivore.
It's
And aren't they one of those only like, what is it, 5 animals in the world that hunt humans for fun, and that's one of them?
Yeah, they say that, yeah.
Wow, dude, you could tell it was right before mealtime because all of them were pacing.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, there's 3 of them, and all 3 of them went like that. Like they
Yeah.
caught the scent and they all beeline for where they're getting fed. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah, so one time, this is kind of an interesting story, talk about standards versus zoos without standards. So in the Congo, Lubumbashi is the city that we worked out of, and they had one of the oldest zoos in Africa, started way back in the colonial era, and the Belgians started it. And then when Congo got independence, Mobutu, the vicious dictator, he was really proud of it and turned it into like this big thing. But I don't know how well the standards were. But then when the civil war hit Congo for like a decade or 2 straight, it survived, but it went really down. And then in recent years, a Belgian like animal trust or whatever has taken it over and is bringing it back up to standard again. So we were in Congo and we brought our sponsor kids to the zoo for the day, my wife and I and this missionary lady we work with. And I was actually quite impressed how they had turned it around. And we were at the tigers, and I recognized that this tiger is anticipating food. Like I know what a tiger acts like when it thinks food is imminent. Mm-hmm. And I said to the mission, they're like, "Oh, yeah, let's go." And I'm like, "No, something's happening here. Like something's going to happen. I can tell."
Yeah.
And the missionary lady whispered in my ear so the kids didn't hear, "Nothing's going to happen." So in the third world, there's military people and policemen everywhere, right? They're just all over the place. And there was a uniformed police officer standing near the exhibit. And she whispered in my ear, "He's not getting fed. He sees the police officer. During the war, they would feed prisoners to the big cats at this."
Oh my goodness.
That's not up to CASA accreditation standards,
uniform.
but
Dude,
the
I
uniform-
would be voting to have our uniform changed.
So the uniform kicked the tiger into
hungry.
thinking
I
yeah.
haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah,
Instead of
exactly. It's been a
Pavlov and
few
his dogs,
years.
it's Ubuntu and his tigers.
That's crazy.
Well, one last big question before we get to our mountainous top 4, and you kind of raised this idea a little bit earlier, but like you work in a field where the understanding of animals and how they work and how they think and even how they came to be, what I would assume be primarily kind of informed by an evolutionary perspective.
Yeah.
But as a Christian, I would assume you hold some version of an idea that God is the creator. And a lot of times people think those two perspectives are irreconcilable, or you can't really kind of learn from one and the other. And how do you process all that? How do you work through that? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I have bumped up against that a lot in my 13 years at the zoo. I used to not be as good at it as I am now. And now I'm a lot more, in the last few years, actually, since I've gotten into this, kind of opened myself up to the mystery of the Old Testament. And I'm very confident. I might not know what's going theistic evolution, literal 6-day creationism, Nephilim, Watchers, Enoch, book, all this stuff. I don't know, but I do know it's everything. It's not. I do know what it's not, and it's obviously it's just a stupid, illogical idea. It's obviously not everything from nothing for no reason.
Yes.
It's obviously not that. And so I'm very confident in saying that. And we talk about this in our lunchroom all the time.
So like healthy debate?
Healthy debate, because we have some that are very much on the scientific side. And then we have me, and then in recent years, we've hired a couple other Christians who are on kind of the other side. And then there's quite a large group in the middle that are, I would say I'm winning over. To what exactly, I don't know. But I have bumped up against that. You're doing presentations. Like I say, I do a primate presentation every day in the summer. And you always get the kid, well, actually, humans, right? Like,
come from monkeys.
And so it's some, I tend to, if I get that from the public, I tend to say, oh yeah, some people think that. I mean, that's an idea that's out there for sure. But I don't know. You don't look like a monkey to me. Like I kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Lightly stick handle it.
Exactly. But it's, like I said, it is something I've struggled with my whole life.
Yeah.
And especially in my career. Like I read this book called The Problem with Animal Suffering. And then that really swayed me one way for a while. And now other things are swaying me another way. And it's not something I figured out yet, to be honest, but I am very confident that it's not everything from nothing for no reason.
Yeah. That's the big question, right? Like I think you can argue and debate and ponder, okay, well, how did God create?
Yeah.
The big question though is it creation or is it some cosmic coincidence?
Yeah.
Which I just can't get my
that's why I say it's illogical. Someone told me like there's however 100x more likely that if a Boeing plant blew up, the result would be a perfectly assembled jet.
Yeah.
Right? Like the
fine-tuned universe.
I love the whole
creation's evidence of the creator.
The hoops that people jump through, like they take that and they go, yeah, there's just an infinite number of realities. And this is the one where it worked, right?
That's easier for them to wrap their heads around.
I don't get
exactly.
that. I mean, I think it's pretty hard to argue against some iteration at some level of evolution. Like it's clear that animals will adapt to an environment, but there's a difference between like
adaptation and evolution.
Right. This with a long beak survives better than this with a short beak, and eventually the short beaks run away, run out, and the long beaks take over or whatever. But yeah, I think there's a big difference between that and amoeba to human. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like with even.
But even if there's some missing link, there's still the question of origin and intention. I think are the biggest. Like, is something outside of this had to start this? Like, there has to be a beginning. And again, I don't believe in Darwinian evolution. I don't subscribe to that. But it wouldn't blow my if they found the missing link. That still doesn't solve the problem of you read Genesis 1. It's the 6 days of creation. Like it's not talking 24 hours. Like it's a framework.
It's not a science textbook.
It's a poem.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's there to just say God made things in a certain complementary and scaling order. Is what it's trying to show. And so I don't have any. I don't believe in evolution in the Darwinian sense.
Me neither.
But I don't have an issue with those who do. Like, that's not the central question. Like, the central question
and that's
is
just it, right?
Like, how and why are we here?
Yeah, I think there's wiggle room for theistic evolution.
I do too. Like,
it's not exactly where I land. I also think there's wiggle room for literal 6-day creation, and I think that doesn't even make sense exegetically.
It doesn't, but it doesn't bother me to say that God could have just said poof and everything was made and it was made old. Like
totally,
he's God.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you come across a log cabin in the woods, and this is made of wood, so it's a tree.
Right.
Well, no, it's in the form of a cabin. There's someone designed. Yes, it's a tree. Yes, it's made of wood. It's made from trees. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
It's like the painting is evidence of the painter.
Right.
It's like, oh yes, this is mineral ore that was actually this color comes from a rock that was crushed up. Yeah, but someone crushed it up, made it into paint, and then painted this beautiful picture with it.
And the point of the painting is to actually say something else altogether, and that's the other piece is like,
yes,
you know, it's
so the scientism is like they're doing everything they can to make you think you are meaningless nothing in infinite everything, spinning at crazy speeds through infinite time and space. You're meaningless.
Yeah.
Everything's an accident. Anything to convince you that you're not a child of God. Like that's what they're trying to hide with.
I think the world is waking up to meaning though, like, and I think it's causing people to start to ask the right questions, and people are starting to see the holes in maybe an over kind of, again, like imperialistic worldview that it doesn't work. I was maybe on Diary of a CEO. I think I heard him talking. I forget who was interviewing. He's talking about how, you know, if like just pretend your wife's a botanist and you give her a set of roses and she goes, ah, yes, these are green stem roses, and this is from the such and such genus, and you know, he's like, I'm giving it to you because I'm saying I love you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like there's a thing behind it. It's not I'm not giving it to you so you're gonna identify the genus and the order and where this comes from. It's saying something more.
And
That's good.
I think the thing you run into as well with the creation idea is not just like the existence of a log cabin presupposes someone who builds log cabins, but it also presupposes the existence of trees. And why is that? Right? Like it's if God doesn't just explain why things are ordered the way they are, he does, but he also explains why there is anything to order.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, you get that whole idea of, everything just popped into existence.
Yeah.
And I don't mean everything like monkeys and trees. I mean like matter and time and space and physics, like the very bare building blocks. There's still, you need some explanation for where that comes from.
Yeah.
And the idea that like if you have something that is self-existent and can intentionally cause things, people go, what, why do you just believe God just exists? We go, well, it's actually within the definition of God.
Yeah.
To be self-existent and to have intention. It is not within the definition of matter or within the definition of gravity or whatever that it would be self-existent and have intention.
It's like that. What's that guy's Pete? He's a comedian, kind of Christian adjacent.
Pete Holmes.
Yeah, he's got that whole thing about atheists believe that they die and they go and get returned back to nothing, which
means they go back to their creator.
Go back to their creator.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Well, this the whole evolution creation thing was a huge debate in the 90s. And there's a segue for it. So there's kind of this trend going on right now, the whole me in the 90s thing. And so we thought for our Mountainous top 4, we would list our top 4 things that in our mind are quintessentially 90s.
Now you're a little younger than I am, but not much. You're still
I'm 87.
you're still you still are very much childhood.
You were
90s
child.
in the 90s.
Childhood was, I consider that my childhood.
So top
for sure.
4. I'm going to angle this at Dad. What were you doing in the 90s?
All right.
So, you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. First, let's talk fashion. We're going mushroom cut.
Oh.
Nice. Starter bomber jacket with the San Jose Sharks on it, or the Oakland Raiders.
Somehow those two teams like became a fashion
thing. The Raiders
thing.
and the Sharks, man, they were on everything.
Charlotte Hornets, throw them in there too.
The Hornets too, everyone
Hornets
like the teal and the purple.
Yeah,
right?
Tampa Bay Lightning got a little of that in there too. They were like the expansion
but that pullover
teams.
starter jacket with the zip
Man,
up.
if you still have one of those, you're in the money.
Really? Are they collectible?
Oh, I think they're back in a big way.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
All right, and then chokers. Like a puka shells.
Oh yeah.
So that's my fashion. Also, what was I doing? Dial-up internet.
Dial-up internet.
Maybe a little ICQ. Remember ICQ?
Yep.
When you got a message.
Never had it, but I remember hearing about it.
Is that before your time, Ron?
I remember ICQ.
ICQ.
It was not before my time. It was before my ability to afford the apparatus to get on it. I jumped
Always back to your humble beginnings.
MSN Messengers, where I got my start on online messaging.
No, I was ICQing it. The TV cart at school.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Best days at school when the teacher would roll that sucker in and be like, "Oh man, here we go. We're gonna watch something."
Yep.
So, and then just calling your friends and having to talk to their parents, saying, hi, Mr. Burns, is Mark home?
Yeah.
Like, how you doing, Brent? Doing good.
Nice.
So, yeah.
These were my kind of quintessential 90s things. I got a couple of honorable mentions first. First is vineyard worship music.
Oh,
If you were kicking around church in the 90s.
now is the time to worship.
Lord, light the fire again. Totally, yeah. And in a similar vein of lame Christian things from the 90s, the chart at the local Christian bookstore that said, if you like this secular artist, you will like this Christian artist.
yeah.
You remember those? Yeah. Here's the off-brand Christian version of whatever.
I shamefully did a bunch of this where you take a secular song and you put the worship song over it. Like you sing the worship song, but you put like Dave Matthews
Totally.
underneath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silly.
But so here's my actual my four things that just when I think the 90s, these are what come to my mind. Before and after school cartoons. Like just the whole like we had Booney Vision and there was always cartoons on for like an hour or
Wizard
so.
of Oz.
Yeah, Pinocchio.
Spider-Man.
Yep, Mary Marvel Marching Society. That was a super old school one.
Big Green Giant.
Friendly Giant.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and then after school, you get a little Voltron going on or some Inspector Gadget. Yeah. Nirvana specifically, but like kind of grunge music and style in general. Buying all your clothes at Frenchie's.
Yep.
Wearing long johns under your ripped out jeans.
Chain.
Plaid shirts. Yeah, the chain
on the
wallet.
wallet.
The chain wallet. Combat boots. Yeah, the whole deal. Long greasy hair. Just malls. In general,
It's pretty 90s.
going to the mall, hanging. That was like the pinnacle of the mall.
Yeah.
And the idea that like if you needed anything, you would go to the mall. I went to McAllister Place Mall here in St. John. I don't know, somewhere in the last few months. It was the first time I'd been in a mall in I think like 14 years. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. It wasn't a bad mall, as malls go. But I used
Moncton Mall's better.
I grew up going on the old Gateway Mall in Sussex, go down to the Zellers, see what new G.I. Joes they
That's a
had.
rough one.
Pop over to the Byway, see what was even cheaper than the stuff at
Byway.
Zellers. Yeah. And then on the music front, another music front thing to me, just unplugged albums.
Oh, yeah.
That was the big, like the
Nirvana
Unplugged, Neil Young Unplugged, Eric
Bryan
Clapton
Adams.
Unplugged was huge.
Yep.
Yeah, those would be those.
MTV Unplugged series.
Yeah, there were actually like that was
super.
I mean, it was a trend, but they were also really good albums. A lot of them. Yeah.
What's your 90s?
90s.
nostalgia?
Okay, so I'm gonna go more like specific things, not
Sure.
like
Yeah.
themes. GT Snow Racer.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Complete
call
with
it-
the
did
Brett
you-
Hall poster.
Did you call it the 3-ski?
Yeah, we were
called it the
GT.
GT.
It was
yeah.
always the GT3 ski
a
with
friend
all
of
my
mine.
friends.
GT, yeah.
Definitely
And
a
then you got a Brett Hall. Do you remember that? You get a poster of Brett Hall for some reason on the St. Louis Blues with
That's
the
hilarious.
GT. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a cross promotion.
That's a good throwback
Yeah.
to Brett Hall.
I'll go fashion. We'll go Umbro shorts.
Oh,
Yes.
Remember the checkered? Like, it was
Definitely.
the same color. Yeah.
Umbro. Yeah.
Umbro.
and the indoor soccer Umbro shoes. People wore those for
Yes,
like who'd
yeah.
never played soccer in
The
their life.
shorts were huge, though.
Oh, I remember
Well, I
my
don't
brother
think they were
Tom.
that big.
He went, oh no, they were.
They were small, but
They were popular,
Yeah,
but they weren't
yeah.
huge.
I remember my brother Tom going through a soccer phase.
Yeah.
He wasn't an athlete at all, still isn't. But
Shout out
he,
Tom.
yeah, that's right. And he had the Umbro shorts, and that's all he wore. Anyway,
Good
so the Umbro
throwback.
shorts, and then I'm gonna have to go Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
N64.
Yeah. Little golden eye.
Yes.
I'll show you on my phone. I had it on my list. GoldenEye.
Nice.
GoldenEye, all-time classic, right? And then, that's 3, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Just playing outside.
There.
There you go.
Hey,
Or
for the
I
win.
feel like that was the last
Yeah.
like that's all we like you guys
Yeah,
were talking about
totally.
playing Army. The
Playing
couple
guns.
weeks. Oh,
Yeah.
Us and
I
Scott and
got
Simon
you.
Corey,
No, you
that's
didn't.
all we did.
You'd eat
all
breakfast
the time.
and leave the house, and your parents would say, "Be home by dark."
Yeah.
Didn't ask you where you were going, what you were doing, who you were hanging out with.
Yeah.
My dad literally would say to me all the time when I was a kid, "Go outside and let the stink blow off."
Yeah. For us, it was 3 things: Army, playing guns,
Definitely.
biking,
Yep.
and catching frogs.
Oh, yeah.
Those 3 things.
You ever
were
play
just-
marbles? You dig a little hole with your,
Yeah,
foot.
yeah.
That was more of a recess at school thing
Yeah,
for
it
me.
was.
Yes,
Definitely.
yeah.
We played baseball in my friend's side yard. We used to camp out. There was a park behind our house, like a kids play, like slides and swings and stuff. And there was the monkey bars that were like this big, like kind of dome thing. And we'd go in the summer, no permission from anybody, and just cover that thing with blankets and sleep in it all night.
That's just better times.
It was just like nowadays
Simpler times.
everyone would be so worried about their kid being abducted or whatever.
But he's back.
Right?
Well, this has been a good time.
Absolutely.
James, man, thank
Yeah.
you. This has been fun.
Thank
This
you.
has been
I appreciate
informative. Thanks for the swag.
Fun to talk to a normal human in
Yeah.
that corner.
Yeah, just for one of the dozens.
I appreciate the invite and people
Yeah, man.
listening. If you're in Moncton,
Yeah, swing by.
against your will,
legit. It's
stop
awesome.
by Magnetic Hill. We got the Wharf Village, the zoo, the hill, Magic Mountain. There's even a winery if you're Baptist. So
Yeah, there you
swing
go.
on in. And
I am going to make what I believe will be genuinely my first ever by choice trip to Moncton to the zoo this summer. I wanna
Definitely.
see it.
Definitely.
See you there.
It's worth going. All right, people. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.